Good evening. Welcome to another edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show, Red Pill Edition, right here on YouTube. My name is Leon Jones, and during this segment,
Red Pill Edition,
we're going to
right
talk
here on
about
YouTube. My name is Leon
families.
Jones,
And I might get
and
into the
during
topic
this
of
segment, Pill
liquor stores too. Last week, I did a video on how much black churches actually make. Hello, Celine. Welcome to the chat. But during this video, I want to do something different. And before I go on, okay, because I thought about this. If you are going to be new to my panel and you want to argue, I'm just going to be an asshole about this. You're going to pay me a $100 argument fee. I had somebody on my panel yesterday, last week, and shout out to Free Zone, and shout out to um, Brother Melly Mel. When it comes to individuals, you get some individuals who are very, very emotional when it comes to talking about subjects. So, I'm going to impose these two things if you want to come on my channel and argue. Write a paper or a PowerPoint and cite it, and you pay me a $100 Cash App argument fee. That way you'll get on the panel. Other than that, I don't want you on my panel if you are going to bring strife. Go to other panels. Here on the 401 Talk Zone radio show, this is grown folks radio. Shout out to you, Brother Clue, because there was one gentleman and he was on Auntie, and shout out to Auntie. Go to his channel. If you feel safe and you want to have a conversation, and pretty soon Brother Auntie is not going to put up with that nonsense either. I see a lot of brothers making changes to their channels, and that's good because all the beefing, it's not going to make it in this sector. It's childish. What I'm achieving here is teaching. On this channel, it's like a college course. You have an opinion, back your opinion up with something. If you're going to come here and argue, just like Action Potential did, yeah, I'll call him out. He wants to come back on his channel. Again, bring me a PowerPoint and a $100 argument fee. This is for a lot of individuals who have a view that is way left than mine. I have found that individuals on the left, particularly in the black sector, cannot have disagreements or conversations without it going off topic. And it's okay if you're pro-black, be that as it may. But here, I talk about the issues, and if you don't like my audience, you don't have to be on this panel. I have a good audience. They show up every weekend and support me. Celine and Brother Clue and Brother Free Zone and Brother Nate. This is not the beef sector, and I'm not the one to deal with. I can get hot just like the next guy, but I choose not to do it because I'm a little more experienced in life. So, that being said, what I'm going to talk about today is families. And I'm going to put this question out to you because I see a lot of it myself. Number one, and of course, I have a poll question out there as well. And again, shout out to the cussing pastor, Thaddeus Matthews. And of course, shout out to last week's stream from Brother Xavier about the African American church. But this is one that I really want to get in because what I see today when it comes to families, I have to ask this question. Is family overrated? Is blood thicker than water? And why do I see so many grown children past the age of 23 living at home with their parents? And why are children running a house? Because if you're a parent and you have a house and your children aren't contributing to the house, why should they be allowed to have an opinion? And I say that because if you're an adult, then you're going to have to be responsible as an adult. Now, this trend has been going on for over the past 20 years. Celine, I was talking about the gentleman that came on my panel last week. His name was Action Potential. He was from Auntie's panel. That's who I was talking about. At the end of the stream, while I was trying to close it out, Brother Free Zone and Brother Melly Mel asked him a few questions like his age. He didn't want to answer that. He just said he wanted to talk to me. I tried to give him some information, and he totally went left, and I kicked him off the panel. That's why, again, anybody new coming here, they want to get on my panel, they want to argue, $100 Cash App, and you bring me a PowerPoint and a paper with cited sources. I'm keeping the riffraff off my panel, and if it's an echo chamber, let it be an echo chamber because you only grow with like minds. You don't grow with people who put drama into the question. It becomes a disarray. It's not going to happen here. Good evening, Jenny V. Welcome to the building. But again, no, I haven't thought about being monetized yet. I like it the way it is. I have a pretty good job because if it's monetized, you're more or less scrutinized. I like the way I do it. Brother Clue, that's exactly right. And thank you for coming on my panel and saying that. It's childish and we get nowhere with bickering. There's too many people talking over one another, and that can't happen here. And I advise anybody who has a YouTube channel that if you're going to have an audience, make sure you know your audience. If you have a dumb audience, you're going to be looked at as being dumb yourself. Thank you, Free Zone. Welcome to the panel. Damn right. And that's the way it's going to be here. And if it sounds like an echo chamber to some, then it is. We don't have an echo chamber here. We know how to disagree, but disagree by being adult about it. And Brother Free Zone, he was on a panel last week. So he knew exactly what went on. Same with Brother Melly Mel. If he's in the background. And I did drop the link. So if you want to come up, come on up. But I just want everybody to answer this. As I talk about families. How come a number of parents are friends with their kids? Why are they trying to get their kids to like them? A parent's supposed to be a parent. How come they're allowing their kids to live at home at 23, 24, 25, and 30? And I see it more with the women. And it's funny because a number of women, and there are some men who are into the mix as well, but it's a number of women. They're allowing their kids to live at home. They're allowing their kids to have sex at home, in the house. They're allowing their kids to even bring their kids into the house, and you have a disarray. And it's funny, and this is a show not about women. However, I see more women doing it, unless the kid's a special needs kid and the kid's going to college. If the kid is not contributing, they got to go. Now, I know to some people, 18 years old is too young. However, if you're in here fucking 18 years old, isn't young at all. You can go to the military, you can do something. You can't stay in my house if you don't follow my rules. Now, I have the poll question up, and I'd like everybody to participate in that poll. Are parents trying to get their kids to like them? I already got one vote from Tommy Jean, and shout out to her. She's always supported my channel. Also, not going to ask, but hit the Cash App if you like. Right now, I'm just going to control my panel to make sure that you're getting the education that you desire. Because like Clue said, and like I said, the beefing is definitely kind of old. And put Clue's channel in the chat because Clue's got a good channel out. We got to support that brother. He does good topics. Make sure you support him. Now, again, when it comes to family, is blood thicker than water? And I say this because a number of us go visit family during Christmas or Thanksgiving. And I have to ask this question: how many family members are phony? Do you all buy Christmas gifts for family members that you don't like? I mean, we put a lot of emphasis on family. However, a number of families are dysfunctional regardless of race. I've seen it. Heck, I have some dysfunctional people in my family that I don't want to deal with. That's why I don't go and visit them. That's why I don't call them. But I believe, in my humble opinion, that family is overrated today. It's overrated today because it doesn't have the same cohesiveness that it once did. It's a bunch of mooching going both ways. And now you even have adults living with their children. And when that is happening, you have low-class adults. In fact, if you look at what's going on now, because of the family structure, you have adults that have never grown up. So how do you expect children to grow up? Again, you have a number of kids running the house, kids having opinions. And this is why a number of men and a number of women who are putting ads on dating sites looking for a partner, they cannot find a partner because they have their grown-ass kids living at home, causing a lot of problems instead of the kids being on their own, having their own families, and starting their own lives. At the end of the day, I find that you have too many kids. They're not participating in paying any type of bills while they're living at home, but they want to do adult things like have sex, come in when they want to. They want to argue. They don't want to clean up. And a number of reasons why these kids are dysfunctional is because the parents are doing all the work for them. So it's not all the kids' fault. You got mama washing the laundry for the kids. You also have a number of kids who don't want to eat what's on the menu. It used to be when dinner was made, we all ate the same thing. Now, if one kid doesn't like something or another kid doesn't like something, we're making separate meals and the kids don't help clean up. Well, again, in my house, that would be prohibited. Why? Because I have a structure. And kids today don't have structure. Kids today are very mouthy, but it's because of the adults. The adults don't want to go back to corporal punishment. Let me tell you something. The belt works. Now, some people might not think so. The belt works. Teachers are the worst ones for wanting to be friends with the children they teach. Facts. You should be a child's parent, and then when they're adults, you can be their friend as long as they're gone. As long as they're gone. Don't be a friend while they're there. As a parent, I want my children to like me, but I want them to respect me more. You have to set boundaries and rules. It's up to you to set the motion, the rules of life. Well, you want your children out of the house at a certain time too, so you can have your own life. The object of parenting is to teach your children how to make it in the real world so they don't come back. Uh, this new guy, Jay Mons. Let me put my glasses on here. All right. Jay Monta, welcome. Sounds like stupid parents who don't know structure or they don't want to enforce it. These parents must hate them because they're not building them for success. I'm going to say the children must hate them. Facts. Facts. Because these parents are children themselves, by the way. A lot of these parents have never grown up, and these parents don't want to grow up. In fact, I see most of the time you have a lot of mothers and daughters competing with one another. They're going to the clubs, they're meeting the same types of men, they're drinking. Some of them are even smoking pot together. You have the boyfriend who's having sex with the mother and the daughter. It's almost like that program, and I did a video on it a long time ago called Smothered, where the mother and daughter are definitely living together. In fact, the daughter and her husband are having problems because the daughter and the mother share this bond that's basically unbreakable. However, the mom is trying to be the daughter's friend. This is why you have the sister-daughter relationship. It doesn't work. And then with the sons as well, you have them living at home. This is where you have the son husband. Mothers and daughters at the same club are disgusting. Facts, Brother Clue. And there's a lot of that in Atlanta. Again, this is what I'm talking about, family. If we're going to have family, what do you really mean by family? And with that, family is overrated and fake. Just because you had me by blood, it doesn't mean I like you. Doesn't mean I love you. And when it comes to family, before you even go out into the real world, look at so many individuals in your family. Look at the aunts, look at the uncles. That will tell you what's outside. And then when the parents aren't correcting the issues, because these days, when it comes to kids, parents, what they're doing, they're buying kids everything they want so they don't have to deal with them. Fighting over the same rapper guy, aspiring rapper guy. Well, a lot of these rappers are broke anyway. They're never going to make any money. Hey, they're killing each other. And this rap is really not talented. It's mumble jumble. That's what it is. Moms don't want the sons hanging around because they don't want any man in the house who isn't going to stand up against the mom's latest trick. Or when it comes to the sons, the son is being raised as the man the mom wanted, but she couldn't have. So the son is there. This is why the son is always labeled, he's the man of the house. How are you going to give somebody who has no responsibility that chore? In fact, a number of people don't even understand what it is to be the boss, because when you want that title, you're going to have to understand the responsibility. You're also going to have to understand that you are going to fail. Son husbands, that's correct, and sister daughters. Now, again, I'm not picking on the women because from what I understand, men are doing the same thing. And if you're trying to date these people, you're basically committing, you might as well just go ahead and have Russian roulette. It's going to be chaos. And then not only are the kids a problem, grown kids, but the pets as well. Salute to you, Brother Lawrence. Welcome to the 401 Talk Zone radio show. Yeah, that really happens, Celine. It really happens. I've seen it myself. In fact, my brother, who's 54 years old, 55 years old. My mom had to kick him out. And that's another thing. You kick these kids out, don't make it a revolving door. I mean, this is not Chrisley Knows Best. You know, a lot of moms allow that to happen. And there's some dads, now there's some special circumstances where if a child comes back home and they're getting a house built or they're waiting for their house to be ready, some form of that issue, okay, but you got to go. And what really happens, a lot of kids don't even respect the rules. I mean, when I was young, I never had an opinion. I wasn't allowed to have an opinion. Even if I was 24 years old, living in my mom and dad's house, was not allowed to have an opinion because I wasn't responsible. Responsible people have their own. And this is why you have a number of men who don't make good husbands and a number of women who don't make good wives. Now, I know we blame Generation Y, which is the millennial generation, and Generation Z for everything. And it really, they have some part to do with it, but I have to go to the late baby boomers and the Gen Xers because as a Gen Xer, I got that belt. And trust me, that belt worked. You just had to apply it right. I mean, I can remember the days of the sticker bushes, of the thorns, and the extension cords, the punishment. Now, if you do any of that, that's basically child abuse. My uncle was always living at my man's house. He got married once, and it ended up with him going back home, and my nan virtually treated him like a husband, waiting on him and doing everything for him. Facts, that's what happens. And you know what? There's also a case where some of the women who get older, they can't live alone. So they allow their grandkids to come in the house, live with them. They even adopt their grandkids. And that's creating dysfunction. A parent is supposed to teach. Now, there's nothing wrong with helping your parents out. And you want to know something? For the most part, as mammals, we're the only ones who don't leave the nest. And if we do, we're allowed to come back. And I say this because it's going to continue to get worse. It's going to get worse because parenting has gotten worse. Now, I know there's some individuals that will say, well, this is new age parenting. Well, the problem is new age parenting doesn't work. And I know you have some psychologists who never had children and politicians who never had children. They're the ones who put these ideas out there. They're the ones who want to have your kid call 911 if they're touched. Now, I don't believe in abusing a kid, but you need to discipline a child. There's nothing wrong with liking your children. Now, if you saw the movie Fenced by Denzel Washington, he was in there. And he told his son, he said, it's not about me liking you. It's about me teaching you. That's the problem. You know, we throw the word love around and like around out of context. You love your kids, but not like them. We need to be like birds. Push them out of the nest and say, fly away. Correct. Great minds do think alike. And again, welcome to the channel. Hope you all enjoying this broadcast. I was going to do the liquor stores, but I had to do this, family. But what does family mean to you all, though? I mean, I'm not saying we don't need family, but family is no good unless it's working. And today, I just don't think family works the way it used to in a number of cases. I didn't say all cases, but in a number of cases. And when you have too many people living together under one roof, nothing gets done, especially in this American culture. Now, I know I was asked a question a long time ago. Well, all the other families live together. Well, they have something to pass down. In America, we have a different culture. You have children, you teach your children the birds and the bees. They might do the wrong thing in the trees. Hopefully, they don't. But you teach them the ways of the world. And then you let them fly away. Children are going to make mistakes. But one thing I do see too, when it comes to parents, a number of parents want to live through their children. And this is why they have their grandchildren living with them. You know, they did a bad job with their children, so they want to come along and be happy by taking care of their grandkids. They actually want to do the job with their grandkids that they should have done with their own kids. They failed at it. Now, again, there's no perfect parent out there. I wasn't a perfect parent. Wish there was more that I could have done. I admit I made my fair share of bad choices. But even if you have an intact family, your children could still turn out to be bad. And why is that? Because a number of children cannot withstand the influences of outside forces, television, social media, the rhetoric that they hear in college if they're going to college. Again, families keep you young and it stops you feeling old. Well, I'll be honest with you, Jenny. You know, I look at it like this. If a family is intact, if you have a good partner, your kids should not be doing what your partner or your husband should be doing for you. That's your partner's job. Your job as a member of your family is to teach. That's the job. Man is to provide and protect. A woman is to nurture and teach. A society can rise no higher than the morality of its women. You look at what we got now. A number of your kids are into the thought culture. Now, I'm not going to get into some other brothers might talk about it in the black community with the weave and everything. Yeah, that's true too. That's true with the drugs. But what I see is a lot of parents, they didn't grow up themselves. That's why you have 39-year-old grandmothers. And the cycle keeps repeating itself. That's a good answer, Jenny. Some children have never been told no, and that's the issue. Brother Clue says, you still irritate your parents. Oh, that's true. I want to move with my parents to Florida so bad. Celine, you're getting at that age. You need to grow and learn to fly away and have your own. You can't be in your parents' house forever. If you can't go to college, find a trade, but you can't be under the wings of your parents forever. You can visit your parents in Florida, but it's not a good idea to move in with your parents. What, are you going to stay in there till you're 30, 40 years old? That's no good. Then you're going to always be under your parents' wings and they're going to do everything for you. You got to have rules. That's the way the real world works. And this is why kids of all generations don't understand the real world, because parents have done everything for them. That's bad. I mean, I even told my own brother that. He's been in and out of my mother's house. He's 2 years younger than I. But again, it's nothing wrong with loving your children. But when you start going out to the clubs with your children, you start listening to the same music as your children, you start acting like your children, that's a problem. The sister daughter and the son husband doesn't work. And again, it's not just the women, there are men doing the same exact thing as the women. And I don't know where we have gone with individuals not wanting to grow up. And what happens is individuals are very delusional because they don't want to grow up. Some parents don't want their children to leave because they know that they have nothing in common anymore with the partner. They stayed simply together for the children. Well, that's true. However, when the children grow up, the parents need to decide whether they want to stay together or not. The object of parenting is to take care of the children and provide them with the tools so they can grow. You know, it's not about love all the time. It is not. Parenting is a job. Yes, you want to have affection, you want to care, but I've seen too many parents basically spoil their children. I honestly don't think I would know how to live on my own. Well, you got to learn one of these days. Something happened to your parents. What are you going to do? You got to learn how to do it on your own. Yeah, it's tough. A lot of divorces happen once the children left. Well, that's true too. But see, at the end of the day, I just believe the children were always the precedent, so the parents did not build their relationship, and that's why the divorces happen. And again, with women initiating 73 to 75% of the divorces, a number of women have gotten bored and they want to get right back out there and see if they got it. But here's the problem: when you're 50s, 60s, 70s, you don't have it like you did when you were in your 20s. So the delusion takes in effect. I always think they can find something that's greener on the other side. Now, I want to tell you, grass is not greener on the other side. That is not the real world. Again, Jenny is telling Celine, you learn how to walk, talk, listen, you can experience different things. That's right. You know, and a lot of us talk about leadership, particularly in the black community. Well, one of the reasons why you don't have cohesive leadership is because a number of black men don't know how to lead. And then their mothers don't want them to lead either. Their mothers will basically tell their daughters about being strong. They'll tell their daughters about going to school, and their husbands, or correction, their sons, they'll let their sons lounge around, or they will berate their sons and tell their sons, you're just like your father, or they want the sons to stay home to be that son husband. That's a problem. Now, again, I am not knocking families. And something I want you all to do: like, share, and subscribe to the 401 Talk Zone radio show here on YouTube. It's not too many people talking about this issue. I am talking about it because we need to talk about it. I'm not about being strong and independent, but there's a difference between that and self-sufficient. And in some ways, I know how to cook and have my own license and I'm responsible. Well, that's what you should be doing, Celine. That's what an adult does. Um, I do not reward people for doing their job. I mean, because, and I'll tell the women this: you all haven't done anything that men haven't done. I mean, a number of women don't understand in this country that everything has already been built for you. All you have to do is lay back and be comfortable. But the strong and independent, that's just a delusion of feminist rhetoric. Because at the end of the day, what are women really fighting for? They don't really want equality. They want to be the supreme gender. I mean, they've been brainwashed by all this caca from college. And when they go into college, they come out dumber than they were when they went in before they went into college. That's the problem. Maybe this year start to widen your independence. It's nothing wrong with when you're young, you need to experience. Now, when I say experience, I don't mean making yourself available to be every guy's human toilet out there. I don't agree with that. Don't just lie around and have somebody's babies, because if you do, then you have just basically saddled yourself out of the market for a decent man to date. Oh, well, they'll date you. They'll bend you over 45-degree angle over the sofa. But that's all you're going to get. And see, the purpose of family, they need to be teaching you all of this so you don't have the problems. But again, some of these kids out here are letting social media be their mom and dad as well. Celine talks about, I pay my own bills and I try to be good with my money. You should be good with your money. You should be good with your money. I love my parents and they mean well, especially my mom. I feel in a lot of ways it cripples me because she never thinks I'm ready. Well, Celine, you can't go by what your mama thinks. You got to know if you're ready or not. I mean, did you know when you were ready to drive a car? I guarantee you did a lot to get that license so you could drive that car. Some children live in a home where everything has been given to them for free, homes living off the state. They don't know how to work to get what they want. Facts. And that all comes from parents being afraid to say no. And the funny thing about family, I was watching this AT&T commercial. And that little girl in that AT&T commercial, it was the lollipop. The customer service rep gave the boy a lollipop and gave the girl a lollipop. The girl got her lollipop first, and the boy got his lollipop last. The boy got the bigger lollipop. The little girl said, well, that's not fair. So she takes the little lollipop and gives the girl the same lollipop the boy had. Well, that girl right there in that commercial, if you see it, she's going to end up thinking that she's entitled because the father never stepped in. No, it was a commercial. The mother never stepped in and said this world doesn't come with being fair. What's good, brother Melly Mel? I'm talking about grown kids living at home. I'm talking about, is family overrated? And also we're going to go into some open topics. I will be dropping the link if you want to come up on the panel. Well, get ready. Now, going back to family. I was raised with a pretty decent family. But my family wasn't perfect either. You see, when it comes to parenting, there's no recipe for parenting. There isn't. A lot of it is instinctual. But you have a number of individuals that are sitting down there having babies. And let me tell you something. If you can think you could raise a child by yourself, you probably can, some of you. But a number of you can't. because a number of you who had children when you were children hadn't had enough experience in life either. And see, this is what parents are supposed to do. Now, there was another commercial, it was a Chevy commercial. And this is where the father did step in. And he brought the daughter's girlfriend with, brought the daughter's boyfriend with him when they were going on a trip. And the father says, I got cameras in the front, I got cameras in the back, I got cameras on the side. See any funny business going on? That's what a father should be doing. Now, I'm not saying shelter your kids. All right, Jenny. Well, thank you for coming up to the panel. I appreciate it. Yeah, catch the replay, and I will be up next Friday. And I just want to say peace. God bless. But salute to you, Brother Free Zone. Salute to you, Brother Melly Mel. No one can raise a kid by themselves. That's correct. It's a very difficult task. You think you can? You're badly mistaken. You see, when it comes to parenting, it does take two people with the right mindset, because you can have a two-parent household and it still doesn't work. Why? Because the parents aren't ready to be parents. And what has happened with some of these kids out here, the reason why they're in flux is because parents were busy at the club smashing and dashing in the bathroom, and these kids were conceived 9 months later. Or they're in a car, or they're in the bushes. A number of us forget when you have sex out here, you can create something that you're not ready for. But again, this video is about, is family overrated? I mean, how many of you travel to see your family for holidays? Can you talk to your family members about politics? Can you talk to your family members about something you have on your mind? I tell you this, when it comes to politics, I can't talk to particularly the female members of my family about politics. They'll have a fit. Why? Because they've all been under this illusion that they have to vote for the Democratic Party. And again, as black people, or white people, whoever you are, none of us are monolithic. We all have our own minds. Now, like I say here on this channel, I don't mind you coming up, speaking your mind. Make sure you have some sense and do it without the emotion. As, again, we saw last week. And again, thank you, Brother Melly Mel, and thank you, Free Zone, for coming up here and doing your due as well. I mean, you made everything. You my guys, and I'm always look out for everybody in my audience because you've earned it. I'm gonna go ahead. The link is up. I just dropped it. I'll drop it again because we need to discuss this about family. Is family really failing us? I mean, we talk so much about having good families. Yeah, shout out to Citizen Lou as well. Yes, he's another one. Good brothers. But again, if you have a cohesive family, and you're a man, especially if you're a man, I'm not going to go to work and I got a grown ass man living in my house and he's eating up my shit. Hell no. He's watching my TV. He's got some broad on my sofa fucking her. It's not going to happen, Captain. Not in Leon's house. If he can't get out there to get him a job, he's got to go. He's not going to school. He's not learning a trade. Can't be in my house. The same with my daughters. This is not the motel, hotel, Holiday Inn. And we have to put it out there like that. And again, when it comes to disciplining a kid, the belt works. It does. Now, you don't abuse a kid, but you got to get them something to make them think about what they did. Punishment works. We have too many parents out here who are afraid to say no because they care about what their children think. It shouldn't be that way. Your children are never going to respect you. And then when your children get out into the real world, they think they can give disrespect to other people. And see, here's the difference. When your children get out in the real world, nobody gives a damn about your children. Your children aren't important when they get out in the real world. They're only important to you. Celine says, do I have to go to college? I don't know what I want to do. I would rather get a full-time job because I don't know what I want to do. Well, you have to look at your talents, Celine. What can you do? What do you don't know what you want to do right now. But let me tell you something, just like I would say in baseball season, when it's getting close to playoff time, it's getting late early. Okay, before you know it, you're going to be 23, 24, and 25, and you don't want to be stuck at the bus stop trying to catch the bus when there have been many buses that have passed you by. I'm going to tell you that honestly. What I would suggest you do is, this is when you sit down, talk to your parents. Let them know what your talents are, and they can help you. Because I don't know what your talents are. That's your parents' job. They're supposed to do that for you. I would be different if I had a direction. I would go in, but I feel I'm not working toward anything. Well, see, if you're not working toward anything, that means you're going to be on your mom's titty for the rest of your life. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You got to find something to work toward, something that you can use, something that is going to help you. Now, a suggestion that I have, I go down there and take the ASVAB test and go to the military. The military, you can make rank, you can get a job, you can travel. I'd go to the Air Force. You're smart enough, take the ASVAB, get you a 50 AFQT, go on in there and be something. Or you can go in the Navy. Not bad either. In fact, you can get a good shore billet if you go in the Navy. But it's getting to where you have to start making ways to become an adult. We got too many adult adolescents still living at home, and that's the problem. Brother Clue, go to trade school. Colleges are just democratic boot camps right now. Facts, Brother Clue. Facts. Now, unless you go for STEM, though. Unless you go for STEM, you're okay. Go for STEM. In fact, a place where you can go and you don't even need a college degree. Learn the help desk in the field of IT. That's where you can really make some money. You have a number of individuals who can't even spell IT, but they're making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 or more. Learning AWS, they learn how to code. They know how to run a computer. That's what I'm thinking. I don't want to be a medical assistant. I heard that's a strag's job. Yeah, listen, Celine, let me tell you something. Money is money when you don't know what you want to do. You can try that out. And then if you don't like it, try something different right now. I would go into the military. Washbum Billy, I scored a 99 on mechanical reasoning on the ASVAB test, but the Marines wouldn't take me. Well, why didn't they take you? Were you overweight? Did you have flat feet? I mean, it's you could have taken that score and going to the Air Force, Washbum Billy. They would have taken you. And you would have been off to tech school. You would have had a good AFSC. You could have gone into the Army, or you would have gone into the Navy. At 99 on mechanical reasoning. Now, Washbum Billy, I need to know what your overall AFQT was. Now, if you got a 75, I mean that's a good score. Now that's just in that one section, but they need mechanical. That's a field that you can work on automobiles, transformers. My parents don't think I'm that smart, but I believe in myself. Again, I always say this: it's not what your parents think, it's what you believe. Because see, your parents are living their lives, but you're going to have to continue your life. Clue says medical assistant is a strag's job. I don't know much about it. Bartending school is good. Okay. Clue says just don't get fat. Bartending will help you get tips. Okay, Billy, I'm in Indiana. What part of Michigan are you in? Are you in Benton Harbor? Are you up in the cold area? You in Detroit? You in Saginaw? I've been to Michigan many times. But what I'm here to do, and Brother Clue and Brother Mel, we're here to educate our audience on what needs to happen with families here. I mean, because part of family structure is you're supposed to have your own families. Everything is supposed to be passed down. Now, we always talk about passing down houses. That's true. Money. That's true. Washbum Billy. No, it was a medical issue. I had a tumor in my eye socket. It's called osteoma. The doctor says that I would be in books. Oh, okay. Okay. I understand. You're living in Oswasso, Michigan. I know exactly where Wasasso is. I know where Flint and I know where Lansing is. Right off of Flint is right off of 75 and 69, I believe, and Lansing is right off of 96. Been to both of those cities. Well, here's what I say, Washbone Billy. If you really want to get into something, go to a community college up there. In fact, in Flint, there's Kettering College up there. You can learn something. There's I think it's Mott Community College up there in Flint. It's a good community college. You can actually learn a trade up there if you can't get into the military. I mean, not everybody's gifted for the military. Military is a very hard life. But again, when it comes to parents should be doing the teaching instead of trying to be friends with their children. Now, if your children have their own children and the parents become grandparents, that's one thing. But even then, make your visits short. Shout out to Truth Be Sold TV. What's up, bro? Great topic. Great topic. Straight truth. Thank you, brother. And welcome to the chat. Again, if anybody has a channel, I know Clue has a channel, spam his channel in the chat. And moderators, watch out for any riffraff that comes through. I mean, that's why I gave you all wrenches. I can do my part. I'm only operating on one monitor here. So please help a brother out. But getting back to families, I want everybody to know I love family. But does family have to be with blood? Does family have to be with individuals who are your siblings? Or it's blood, synonym. Yeah, I see a lot of bots. Hey, what's going on, brother? Tonight, I'm talking about grown kids living at home. I'm talking about why parents should not be friends with their children. Brother Angry Snowman, I dropped the link. I'll drop it again. Trying to get you and Brother Free Zone to come up and Brother Clue to come up. I'll drop the link again. Here we go. Okay, I just dropped the link. So you get time, come on in here and we'll discuss this topic. But again, shout out to everybody on this Friday evening. And before I go any further, get a little sports out there. NFL, 3 o'clock this Sunday. We got the Bengals and Chiefs in the AFC Championship. And we've got the 49ers and Rams at 6:30 for the NFC Championship. And, of course, the winner goes to the Super Bowl. CBS carries the Bengals and Chiefs, and Fox carries the 49ers and Rams. And, again, the times that I just gave you, 3 o'clock, 6:30, they're all Eastern Standard Time. And I am in Indiana, and it is almost 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here. All right, Brother Angry Snowman. Hey, yeah, when you get in the home, come on up. But like I said, I did drop the link, and yes, we got the algorithms up here. I don't believe my channel is going to get flagged because we're talking about some serious stuff here. I'm sorry that Big J blocked you the other night. He was in a bad mood, I think. Wow. Well, again, I'm not even going to criticize Big J because I've heard some of his stuff too. He's pretty knowledgeable with some of his stuff too. But, they're, not other YouTubers. At the end of the day, they know what they're doing with their channels. They'll run it the way they run it. I'm going to run mine the way I run it. And again, we're going to have good conversation. Again, anybody want to come up? I've been up an hour. I dropped the link. I'll drop it again. And spam Angry Snowman's channel as well. I'm subscribed and like, share, and subscribe to the Angry Snowman and the Clue channel. Both of these gentlemen do lives. I've been on both of their lives. And make sure you reach out and touch. Support everyone's channel. The ones, of course, who want their channels to grow. But again, my question is, what do you all think about today's family? When you have the children living at home. Some of them are doing nothing but playing video games. They have a voice. Should they have a voice when they aren't even taking any responsibility? Those are questions that need to be answered. Now I'm going to repeat it again. You'll hear it 3, 4, 5 more times. I don't have a problem with family. Family should be structure. I just don't believe family is teaching their children about the real world today. I think family, it's sounds like when it comes to children, the parents want to live through their children. Washburn Billy says, I'm brand new here. Please go and get some long-term food. Okay. All right. Well, again, welcome to the chat, Washburn Billy. Good name. A lot of syllables to pronounce. And who is coming? I got Paducia coming and Freedom. What's going on? What's going on, y'all?
Hi.
How are
I
you?
don't want to be on camera.
Okay.
But to give my opinion
Sure.
to your question, I don't have any children, but I'm just going to have to, I'm going by my experience and by my own brothers and sisters.
Okay.
Okay. When my mom was alive, okay, she had 5 children, and 2 of them never left the nest.
Uh-oh. And how
And
old were
they were, let's see, how old my sister was in her early 20s, and she was in her mid 20s, like 26 when my mom passed.
Okay.
And my brother was like almost 23 when my mom passed. So, and they were the only 2 that never left the nest, right?
Okay.
So, and see, they could have, they really, nothing was really wrong with them, but they wanted my mom to take care of them. And then my sister had a child and she was pregnant with twins. She wanted my mom to take care of her and her children, and so did my brother. They didn't work. They didn't do anything. They just wanted to live off my mother's Social Security, right?
Okay.
So it depends on the child and how the children are raised, and yeah. But my thing is, some kids, they have a sense of wanting to be independent. Like when I was 16, I left my mother's home, and I've been on my own ever since I was 16. And my other 2 sisters, they left the nest when they were pretty young, but it was just those only 2. But it depends on the child.
Now, my question is, why did you all leave when you were in your teens in high school? Because, you don't have much skills and resources to actually be on your own at that age. You're still minor.
Yeah, see,
Sure.
I was the youngest, and I left when I was 16 because I got kicked out of school. So,
Why'd you get
I
out of school?
got kicked out of school for a year because I got in trouble. So I wasn't going to be able to stay out of school for a year at 16. So my mom signed me up for Job Corps. And
Okay.
so I left the city where my mom resided. I left the state, and
Okay.
I went to another state. And after that, I loved where I stayed in Job Corps for like 2 years, and I loved the city so much till I just got a roommate, and I've been here ever since. So
Okay.
yeah, so and I had the want to get out on my own before then, though. I couldn't wait to get to where I can get out and be on my own. So it depends on the child, really.
Yeah,
If
but
the child is lazy, huh?
it's the parents' job to kick that son of a bitch in the ass to get him out of the house. If they're, excuse my French, I'm just gonna go
It
hard.
is. It is. It
Pick him out
is.
of there and stop loafing. And got Washbum Billy. His pop kicked him out at 28 years old. That is too damn old to be living at home.
It sure
28
is.
years old.
It sure is.
And then when you're telling me your sister and brother wanted your mother to raise kids, that's what I'm talking about. Brother Friezo, you're up too. Let me hear your take.
See, I'm entirely different. I dipped out when I was 18.
Okay.
I was a little nervous about it, but once I dipped out, I was out. I joined the military straight at 18 and never really looked back. So, but I grew up with both my parents and my brothers, and the rest of the family is dysfunctional as hell. So we pretty much stayed away from them. I tell my dad to this day, I was like, Dad, thank you for leaving the block. Thank you for leaving the hood. He's from the hood of Philly. I don't know exactly where. I remember going there when I was younger, and I looked at my dad.
From Germantown? I mean, I went to school in Philly. I went to Temple University.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's West Philly, but I don't know. I only went there one time that I recall, and I told my dad never again. We're not doing this. And I didn't really see them again until my aunt passed, and that was when that was actually like within the last 2 years, and I realized that was why, like just seeing the dysfunction and how they act.
Now I have both. I have Paducci and I have you up there. You both did different things, but you got out of the house, and you all were smart enough to get out of the house.
Oh yeah.
And I know Paducia wanted to get out of the house. And what are you doing now, Paducia? If I'm pronouncing the name.
Paducia. You could call. I named myself after the cat. I am a feline lover. I love cats, great and small. So I named myself after Puss in Boots, right? Paducia. But yeah, well, I'm 42 now. I'll be 43 this year. Okay. So when I went to Job Corps, right, I took up 2 trades, and so I got out and I did nursing for a little while, and then I got tired of that. And then, I'm a jack of all trades. I did security. I used to drive 18-wheelers. I drove that for 5 years. And now I'm just, I just work in medical records now. And I have a part-time in security. I mean, I'm no rocket scientist or anything, but I take care of my business, I handle my business.
But you're able to get out there and be productive. What I'm talking about too is, okay, when it comes to family, is family overrated? Is blood thicker than water? I mean,
it is overrated. It is very much overrated because, see, I'm gonna tell you too. Those 2 siblings, right? Them and the other 2 have passed on. They passed away, but still the same thing, right? They wanted me. They still want me to take care of them, and I refuse to do it. Like everybody in my family, they want me to take responsibility for them, and that's not going to happen. You see, my sister, she's almost 50, and my brother, he is like he's about to be 46, so he's like almost 2 years older than me. But I refuse to take care of anybody. See, people are mad with me because I will not take care of grown people. And they're just going to be mad.
Well, they should. They're grown people. Go ahead. I mean, my brother, like I said, he had a few problems too, but just too many kids. And I just don't blame it on the kids either now, because some of these parents are living through their kids as well, because they want their kids to go to the colleges that they want them to go to, so they can go and brag and tell all their elite friends that my kids are this and my kids are that. No, you got to let your kids make mistakes. I mean, parents made mistakes when they got out there. I mean, it's going to happen. We're all human. And the bottom line is just like Jenny V said, some of these parents were afraid to say no, and some of these parents were also trying to be friends with their children by
Yeah.
in clubs, dating the same men, and these are the ones that were putting profiles on dating sites saying they're looking for somebody, and they had all these high expectations by what they were looking for in a person, but they're not even in a position to have a relationship because nobody wants anybody with the grown kids living at home unless it's going to be a smash and dash affair. It's just the way it is.
Yep.
Brother Free Zone, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, here's the deal with that. To answer the question directly,
Yes,
my
sir.
bad. To answer the question directly, it really just depends on your family. If you have a dysfunctional family, then it probably the best thing that you could do is leave that as soon as possible and find somebody with a little bit more structure or a little bit more, somebody that'll take you in. But if you got a good family with good values and there's order and structure in the house, they'll know when you're able to. They'll know when it's time to release you. I don't really know about the age, like how old you could be. Like I want to say,
Right.
like I left at 18. So when I hear somebody at that house at 25, even that, no matter how they try to explain it, it doesn't correlate to me. But
it doesn't calculate quite right, does it? No.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it doesn't calculate at all to me. But it's a different time, and I don't really judge the way people do them. But if they come to me with an issue, I'm gonna tell them straight up, like, yo, you might want to look at that being your first problem. Like, you might want to handle that.
Yeah.
And it depends on the situation too. Like, cause see, I have a friend who her grown son lives with her,
Oops.
but it's like a roommate thing. He pays his part of the bills and she pays her part of the bill.
How old is he?
He is like 22.
Oh, okay. Now, all right. Now, in that age, now is he going to college or anything like that? Because see,
Yes, he's in college.
Okay, that's different. I'm talking about then in peril here.
Okay. Yeah. They shouldn't be. The parents shouldn't be taking care of the grown child. No, but if the grown child, in my opinion, is paying the bills, half of the bills and things, and doing his or her part, I don't see anything wrong with the child staying there.
What?
But
Till how old? Till how long?
Well, as long as they're help paying the bills, nowadays.
Even when they're paying bills, the child should be there till 30 or 40. Come on, you got to get.
It depends on the situation. It depends on the situation and the income levels and things. I mean, because see, nowadays it's very hard, and I can understand that. If a child is a grown parent, a grown child, say a 42-year-old, is staying with his or her mother, and he is paying half of the bills or all of the bills, just to help her, then that's different.
Okay,
that's very, very different.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead,
here's the thing. Unless mama is ill, daddy died, mama's ill, something crazy like that, there should be no reason why you're living with your parents at the age of 30 and 40. The only person that I would ever take care of in that particular situation is my parents, and that's when they're like old. If I didn't want to put them in a home, and I have to own the property. That's you know what I'm saying. So if it's from a position where it'd be different if you owned the house and you're paying for everything and you're taking care of your parents, but when you are in a position to where because you have to go out there and earn those stripes, and I don't see how you do that splitting the bill with your parents, and I don't see how that works. I don't see how you talking to a girl. I don't see how you talking to a girl and you tell her that with the utmost confidence, and she's gonna be like, "Oh, that's sweet." And yeah, you're not finna get the draws.
No.
Yeah, the other big problem.
You're not finna get the draws, man. You're not finna get the panties doing that.
That's the building. I got two others, and you all recognize it. I got a brother Melly Mel, and I got Red Pill Rage. Welcome to the panel. What do you all have to say about the conversation? We're talking about family and grown kids living at home. We're just kicking it around here on a Friday night.
But what Eric was saying, the other big problem also too is that he's not going to learn full responsibility. And full responsibility is know how to take care of himself fully. He knows how because he has sort of a clutch. When you pay full bills 100%, and even sometimes you have to strategize paying full bills on your own, that's when you fulfill the full responsibility of taking care of yourself and being out there on your own. Because
Right.
you have to learn adjustments and stuff like that. That man's learning adjustments, but still have a clutch. And this is parents, most likely the mama and stuff that let him stay home and everything. Mostly daddy would tell him like, yo, after a certain age, you got to get out. Here, you got to get out. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
and by the way, don't mean to cut you off. Let me, brother Melly Mel and brother Free Zone. I want to thank you and apologize for what happened last week while we're on that.
I don't
Um,
apologize for that, man. That ain't your fault.
No, I did not. My fault. I had to let him go too. You guys, I looked at the whole thing. He's not going to come. Nobody's going to come and mess up my audience like that. And I just put it out there. You want to argue with us? $100 fee, and you bring me something. You want to talk about it? That's it. We're not going to have any of that here. And he tried to get on me too, and I had to let that go too. So. So
Hey, yeah, no problem, man, no problem. I just thought that was completely uncalled for, man. Like it was, he was trying to act like it was his panel, and I had to say something, man. I couldn't have that.
yeah, well, we
He got triggered by hearing a word that has nothing to do with him and being that he got triggered by that.
and that's a dude that has some mommy issues. Go on with it, with grown kids living at home, and I just see it too much. That's why I had to bring it up. I just see it too much, and then the kids are disrespectful. Just like Badusia said, that's how I can pronounce it. Talking about her family wants to use her, and families do use that. That's why I talk about this blood is thicker than water. And then when you go and visit family during holidays, there's a lot of phoniness going on. Now, again, I am not knocking family. I just want everybody's perspective. And when we talk about, a certain age living at home, I will give up to, like I said, if a kid is in college and he's between 18 and 22 and he's staying home. But after college, though, what happens after that? Is he going to go and only a bachelor's degree? Okay, only a bachelor's degree. Go get a master's. You're on your own for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't even get the mindset. I'm trying to understand. I don't understand why a person would want to stay with their parents after a certain time. Like I when I was younger, I couldn't wait to dip out. I was nervous about it, but I knew it was something that I had to do. And me and my dad, we talked about it a while, like several years later, and he felt that I left the house too early. And I said that I disagree because like you might think 18 is too soon and I wasn't ready. And, I could have made some different decisions, but they were my decisions to make.
But see, you went to the military. What branch did you go to?
Air Force. I did 4 years.
Oh, see, okay, so you did some. So apparently, you did your what is it, 6 weeks down there, and I forgot where you down there around
Lackland. San Antonio,
Air
Lackland Air Force Base. But I mean, I was raised. My dad was a Marine Corps drill sergeant, so I was solid.
He didn't want you to be a jarhead.
Well, no, I didn't. There was no. I wanted to do medical stuff, and the Marine Corps didn't suit that. Plus, he was dealing with some PTSD from going to war, and so he didn't want that same thing for me because it like going to war several times really messed him up. So he pushed me in a different direction, which I'm grateful for.
So I got three people who've gone different ways, but you've all made it. So and my thing is, I don't want to blame it all on the children. because again, you have a lot of these parents out here too, because you have some that say, well, I can't live on my own, so I need my children living around me. That's a problem.
Hmm.
That's a problem.
That's how you get all these weird son husbands and wife girlfriends and all that dysfunction going on.
Hmm.
Like some people think that shit is normal. That shit is not normal
It
at
ain't
all.
normal. No. In fact, there's a lot of riffraff taking place undercover that we don't talk about. You know that. I know there's something going on.
Oh
Thank
yeah.
you, Brother Cyber Tosin.
And see, the children, the two children that never left my mom's home, she favored them. She loved their father more. And she told me that she confided in me that she loved them more. And they really mistreated her. And so, they looked a lot like their father, although she and their father separated long time ago. She still kind of spoon fed them and made excuses for them. And I'm almost convinced, and the more I think about it, I am almost convinced that maybe she didn't want them to leave.
That does sound.
Sounds like it to me.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah. Yeah. No, trust me. When I don't care if it's mama or girlfriend or whatever. When a woman wants you out the house, she gonna let you know. She gonna let you know. She gonna leave, either she gonna leave clues or she gonna tell you direct. It's just it is what it is, But
My mother worshipped those children. And my brother was her only boy. My brother was her only boy. So, to her, the sun shined on him and him only in her eyes.
Right.
So, of course, she wasn't going to make him go out, huh?
That he was the replacement boyfriend.
Could be, because he looked a lot like his father.
And all right, next on the panel, got Red Pill Rage. Hey, welcome to my chat. Long time no hear. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Red Pill Rage? All right, we're gonna keep this buggy moving on here.
Yeah, she muted.
Oh yeah, you're muted. Yeah, she's definitely muted. Yeah. You're muted.
You said I muted something.
No, one of my panel members is muted. Yeah, unmute yourself, Red Pill Rage. But well, we'll carry it on here. But I just, my thing with family, I love family just like everybody else does, but I just see too much dysfunction going on with it. Again, when I see, okay, you already have an experience where a brother and sister was trying to take advantage of their mother. This is exactly what I was talking about. Exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah. I just can't see the justification of keeping toxic people. If somebody's toxic, they got to get the fuck away from me. Simple as that. Absolutely. I don't care who they are. Like I don't care who they are. I'll leave it at that. If you're toxic, you gotta get away from me. I don't care if you're family or I don't care if you're family. I don't care. But he's your cousin. That don't mean shit. It means nothing to me.
That's my stance. See, that's my stance. About my brother and my sister and their children. I haven't seen them in a while because I know what's going to happen. I know what goes on. I know how they are. They beg me for my money every time I go down there. And because they act like they're mentally ill, I'm afraid something will happen. And, they don't care. So, I have to stay away from them.
Absolutely.
They want me to be their mother, and that's not going to happen.
Well, see, and that's another problem too. And I actually got some of this also. I did a video about 4 months ago on this show. It comes on. It used to come on Lifetime. It was called Smothered. That's where a mother and daughter were basically cohabitating, and they were basically living as I call them sister daughter, and one of the daughters in that show was married, and that put her hurting on her marriage. I mean, his husband didn't want a mother living in the same house. And then, I got asked, and the reason why I'm putting this out here, because, some of these dudes up here, if they're living at home, they're going to try to do they want to be an adult. They're going to try to do something adult, if you know what I mean. And, I got a rule of thumb, you come in my house, can't smash it in my house. You better go get a hotel or something.
Exactly. I couldn't. The idea of me smashing my girl next to my mom, that don't rock well with me.
I wouldn't even feel comfortable doing that. I wouldn't feel
Nah.
comfortable.
Hell no.
Mom knocking on your door, and
But some people don't care about that though, because my sisters, they did. My mother let them do that even when they were in their teens.
Well, that's because your mom didn't care either. Doesn't seem like it. See, you got a lot of these parents out who let a child do whatever they want.
Yeah, she was trying to be their friend.
Well, that's exactly what I mentioned earlier too. That's what happens. Salute, Survival. Welcome to the chat. But again, we got too much going on.
That's a huge. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead, brother.
Well, no, I was gonna say that's a huge parenting issue out here nowadays, where parents want to be like their kids' friends and value their opinion, and they want them to be heard. Like, I don't think I had a opinion that was valued until I was. Dad, I'm thinking about joining the military. Like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you're a child. Who gives a fuck what you think? Yeah, that's how they carried it.
That's funny. I don't know if you were here on the first part of the show. I said that, children don't deserve an opinion if they're not paying bills. You don't deserve an opinion.
But at the same time, my parents, I'll speak for my dad. My mom, I would try to, because kids can be unintentionally not even realizing it. Kids could be smartasses because they got, when you're a kid, you have questions and you want to ask them. So my dad was wise enough to discern the difference between me giving my opinion of what I think he should do or whatever, and me asking inquisitive questions so that I could fully understand the situation. When I would ask my mom sometimes, it was just like, she had that attitude of, you're a child, stay in a child's place. But my dad would actually take my question into consideration, and even if he didn't know the answer, if he walked away, he would come back with an answer at some point in time. Whether my dad wasn't too prideful to say, I don't know, but that is a good question. Let me get back to you. My mom did that, but not as often. My mom, it was like a battle with my mom sometimes, but it was all good. No, nothing traumatic, nothing crazy happened.
Says, can I make a request? We don't use these new terms of the left: toxic, micro, gaslight, and the rest. These terms are only meant for plan, division. Do not get programmed. Well, we're not programmed here, so.
Yeah, no, we don't do that shit around here.
We don't do that
Microaggression.
shit around. No, we're not programmed here.
I wish I would tell my dad you're microaggressing me.
Oh yeah,
get hit with a macroaggression real quick.
Should I be going to the dentist?
Oh yeah.
Survival. My dad raised us boys structured and very strict. I hated him when I was a teen. I was his friend around 30 years old. We all hate our parents when we're teens because we can't get away. Because I know my dad was extremely bullheaded. My dad was in the Air Force, and he was a drill sergeant in the Air Force. And man, did I know it.
Mm-hmm.
And couldn't get away with anything. And he knew when you were lying too. That's the bad part. And one time I ran out of gas, and man, I felt like I was in court all day. I had to sit up there and just I had to wait for him to come and I couldn't constantly call him because he would just take longer. He just wanted me to think about when you run out of gas, it's your responsibility. And
Mm-hmm.
he gave you that. He gave you that treatment.
Right, right.
And then something. And then if you had a dad, you know how some kids would try to get their mom in the middle. Well, mom, can I? No, go ask your dad.
Mm-hmm. They called it playing Boo Boo the Fool.
That didn't work. But I just see a lot of parents these days. Now let me ask you all something. Did anybody ever get that belt, that corporal punishment?
Hell yeah.
Now
Let's talk about it. Hell yeah.
Now,
These little
Repeat the
youngins, man, they get.
did the belt work? I know it worked for me.
Hell
I
yeah.
did sometimes.
Well, you know what? I'll say it like this, because one of my dad's abilities, which really worked, was his ability to be unpredictable. So there were certain things where I got in trouble, and I was for sure, I knew I was gonna get my ass whooped, and I would just get grounded. There's other times where I would get grounded, or I would think I'm gonna get grounded, and he whooped that ass. Sometimes he threw both of them in. Sometimes he gave me a choice. Because like when I was young, all I did was play basketball, and literally my house was like right outside of a basketball court. So I'd hear kids hooping and all that other stuff, and sometimes I'd be like, "Dad, could you just whoop my ass so I go play basketball?" Like,
yeah, like survival don't work. I could still hear it. Come on, man. And see, back in the days, I remember the old switch, especially with the sticker bushes on it. Anybody ever heard of Hot Wheels? Boy, that Hot Wheel track, that
the
plastic.
Hot Wheel track, yeah.
God Almighty, you know that. And
They
see,
call all that stuff abuse now. That would all be considered abuse. But all these kids soft as hell now. So
and these kids, I know my son. His wife wouldn't let him play any football. I'm like, you don't want the kid to play football? So, kids today, they're not going to play football. I mean, the ones that do, you look at the football players out there today. They don't look like manly football players. They don't.
Nah, they sissy. They sissified.
And that's what we promote here on this channel. We don't promote that sissifiedness over here.
And that's probably the reason why a lot of these grown men nowadays cannot take rejection.
Yes, that's
Grown men and women. A lot of people cannot take rejection because you hear a lot. You hear a lot of these stories in the news about somebody killing somebody because they wouldn't talk to them, simply because they wouldn't talk to them. Like a few months ago, a girl got shot in her leg downtown because she wouldn't talk to this guy. He approached her and tried to talk to her. She didn't want to talk to her. She didn't want to talk to him, but he ends up shooting her in the leg because she wouldn't talk to him. Now, they didn't say if she knew him or not. This was on the news. They didn't say whether she knew him or not, but that's not the first time I heard something like that. And these men, especially men, I hate to say it, but they get butt hurt sometimes for simply, a rejection. And these women do too, and it's like, I'm afraid. I am so afraid to even talk to anyone nowadays, because if you were to disagree with them, they would want to retaliate.
Mm-hmm.
People used to stop me and ask me for directions, and when I can't help them, they retaliate by trying to make me feel stupid. It was like, you live here and you don't know where this place is.
Well,
so
if you heard my last panel, Brother Freezone and Brother Mel, we all ran into that last week, did we not? With an individual that was hurting.
Yeah, it was bad, man.
And they're coming to YouTube with that nonsense. And these individuals got some mental issues. They do. I'm not sorry to say that they need help. Okay.
Yes, undiagnosed mental illness.
They do. They got some mental illnesses. I'm not saying daddy issues or mommy issues. something else happened. I've done videos on psychological issues, but when I hear men, I can understand the women that I mean we are, but the men that I see now are becoming less and less masculine. In fact, they love to bring that femininity to YouTube. And when you have a conversation with them and you have a difference of opinion, even if you back your opinion up, they give you emotional responses and they want to go back and forth. That's not a trait of a man. And that's
No,
Mhm.
it's not. People cannot agree to disagree. They cannot, because I think it's probably because we don't get whoopings anymore. Probably.
well, yeah,
I
that,
think,
I mean, it's really a lot of these guys are raised by their moms and
yes,
solely their moms, and so when you don't have that masculine energy in the house to walk you through what it means to be a man, what all entails, you don't have those masculine skills, and so all that's left is the feminine. Like everything that you described, um, I don't know how to say your. Is it Paducia?
that's how
yeah,
I
but
pronounce it.
So everything that you described is perfectly justifiable from a woman's position. Like it's almost an expected thing. I don't expect too many women to really embrace rejection because that's just not your element. But as a man, all of those things you're supposed to willingly take on. And when you don't have that because you don't have the father there, you produce these types of individuals that are just emotional, just sissified. They can't their social skills are lacking. Like you should be able to it's not even agree to disagree. It's taking what somebody says and picking apart, okay, that I agree with, but let me try to articulate this particular point. And there's supposed to be a fluid conversation. Even if me and 411 disagreed on 98% of everything that we were talking about in a discussion, we should be able to talk to a point where we're able to not only air out our disagreements but actually gain some knowledge from those disagreements that we have. And when you just go into a conversation thinking that you're right about everything, then that gives you that bravado. It's like I've noticed on, especially in YouTube, like the people who get the most emotional and they're the most boisterous about their opinions are the ones that have they're the most deficit in social skills. They just completely lack them because they think they're right all the time. And they think that everything they say is right and what you say is wrong. That shit's trash.
yes, and they are entitled. This is just how
Correct.
entitled a person
Mm-hmm.
is.
Yes.
You
Washbone
must
Bill.
agree with what I say, or else. And
Yeah.
some people retaliate. This is just how mentally ill some people get.
Yeah, Washbone Billy says the black family was promoted to not have a dad and go on welfare. It's a fact and it's sad. Well, back in the 60s, yeah, well, I'm not even going to talk about, get into that, but that is true. There's some that believe in welfare and they don't need a dad. And you look out, some of the children turn out.
No,
Now,
I
some
don't.
people do.
If
Go ahead,
I
brother.
don't want to, I don't want to touch on the welfare part, but I will touch on the mindset that comes with that. In
Okay.
order for you to be open to like that type of thing, the country as a whole has to embrace that particular mindset that comes with it. And the mindset is more deadly than the actual welfare. And
True.
it goes back to what Fiducia was saying, that whole concept of entitlement, that this is deserved to you. Like we've completely lost sight of the concept of the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. People don't want that pursuit anymore. They don't want that hunt. They just want, happiness to kind of just roll on in, kind of knock on their door and, hey, I'm happiness, and they don't want to go out there and pursue anything. And that's it's really sad because you pursuing your own endeavors to get what you want out of life is where happiness comes. Happiness is a product of achievement, and you just really have a lot of people that lack the skills to achieve. They're not willing to go out there and achieve, and for whatever reason. I did a stream earlier today
Oh,
about
you got
overcoming.
a channel up, brother Free Zone?
Yeah. I got like 3 or 4 of them up.
Spam your channel in the chat. Spam your channel, and Chad, if you can find Red Pill Rage's channel, spam it in the chat, please. Gotta subscribe to my audience here. Yeah, I didn't know that. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So earlier today, I was talking about how people are so scared of risk, and they're willing to clean. Basically, they're willing. They treat risk like it's a 4-letter word, and they're willing to settle in their fear. They're not willing to overcome it. And these are the things that parents aren't teaching their kids. They're teaching them it's okay to be scared, and it's, I was scared too, and all this other stuff. But they're not teaching them the skills that they need to actually overcome fear. And because most of the time they never took the risk themselves, they played it safe. And as a man, playing it safe is the worst thing that you could do. You have to get out there and be willing to earn those stripes and take that risk to get the things that you want.
Yes.
You should. Yeah.
That's exactly right. Yeah, Red Pill Rage, she's still at work, so that's why she's not up yet, just getting off. But yeah, and I really do believe that family today, and this is just my opinion, has become more of a it's become more of a leech fest. That's the word I want to use.
Yes. Every last one of my siblings were leeches. Like, I'm the youngest.
Yes.
And growing up, they didn't pay me any mind. They didn't do for me like they should have, like any normal older brother and sister would do. But when I got grown and out on my own and started doing my own thing, making my own money, handling my business, they thought that I owed it to them to take care of them and give them my money.
Right.
Which was not true. But I did try to help them, but I had to stop. I had to ask myself, what am I gaining from this? It's like every time I go around, everybody is asking me for my money, and it's like, wow, I couldn't do enough for them. So I even had to pay for my oldest sister's funeral. So, I'm like, I'm not, I'm not gaining anything from this. So I'm just gonna, and I tried it again. I tried to help my nephew. One of my sisters that passed, that was her son, and he was 18, and I did all I could to help him. And then the last time I tried to help him, he thought that, I almost took myself down to homelessness trying to help him because he thought that I was supposed to take care of him, one of his baby mothers, and their 3 children. And I was like, no more. And that was the last time I tried to help anybody down here where I'm from. They don't even know where I live at.
Like I said, the survival says men got to work hard for everything. Facts. Angry Snowman, this is actually the end result of the participation trophy area or era, and teaching kids that they don't have to work to receive an award. Facts. We want to give everybody the same. Everybody same. Again, I was referring to, if you've seen that AT&T commercial, the one with the family has a boy and a girl, and the mom and dad, and the customer service representative gave the little girl a small lollipop and gave the boy a bigger lollipop. She said, "That's not fair." So she takes the small lollipop away from the little girl and gives her the lollipop, and she was happy. But the parents, they're not teaching her that life isn't fair. We all have opportunities, but we don't live in a land of equity. You do not get equal outcomes. No.
A lot of these parents ain't teaching their children anything because I tell you, when I tried to help my nephew, I could not believe he did not have certain skills, you know. So it's like, wait a minute, it's not my job to raise nobody else's grown child. I was like, what was my sister thinking? So you have to teach your children. You have to teach them that they have to work. You have to teach them money management. You have to teach them life skills so they can take care of themselves. And that's something that I see that parents are not doing. And it's society has to pay for it.
Oh, absolutely.
They're teaching them that they don't have to work. And I'm gonna go here. I hate to go here, but a lot of the females, they're getting taught that all they have to do is have a baby, and then they would get paid. One way or the other. Either the system will pay them, or they would get some money from the person who they got pregnant from.
Facts.
When she's on, if the man is rich or poor, it just depends on whether that man is rich or poor or not. They would get paid.
Right, and it's all this.
But anyway, that woman ain't got to work though nowadays. If a woman have a baby nowadays, she does not have to work, because when she have that baby, she will be well taken care of by somebody. Her and her child will. She would get food stamps. She would get money. She would get free housing, free daycare. And if she wants to go to school, she would go to school. So this is what society, our government, and this is what the government period is teaching these children.
It's all indoctrination, and that's facts, Washbum Billy. And yes, Angry Snowman. There's a big difference in a handout and a hand up. Some people don't know how to differentiate between the two. Also, facts. And this is why you don't have real cohesive families, because there's another thing I want to bring up too. I remember, and this is what I was told, if I had a baby and I was even in my 20s, or let's say teens to 20s, well, I couldn't pawn that baby off on my mother or dad if I wanted to go out. No, take that baby with you. A lot of these kids now are bringing their kids back home to their parents so they can go out and do whatever they want to do. And that's also not teaching them responsibility.
Yep. And see, that happened in the 90s. My sister got pregnant when she was 15 and had a baby when she was 16. And she expected us to take care of the baby. I was 12 at the time. And see, when we were like, no, she would leave that child there anyway and going about her business. And it wasn't anything we could do about it.
Yeah, shout out to that. Yeah, she is on fire. Shout out to you, Washburn Billy. And Mel has an excellent point about money management. Sometimes the parents aren't even good at managing money, so it's hard to teach it. We don't really get into race here. We look all across the board here. And
that's what I like to do. That's what I like to do.
I like to talk about people like me and Free Zone and Brother Mel and the rest of us on this panel, because we don't live in victimhood here. We live in reality.
Yeah, I like to talk.
Let's go. Talk about it. We don't do that shit around here, man.
No, absolutely not. We call it out the way it is. Okay.
That's it. Because men have to deal with the reality of the world. We don't have time to sit back with this isn't fair. Like anytime I hear a man say unfair, I can't respect you in the conversation if you're using that type of language, because life ain't fair.
Yeah, and we got to compete. I mean,
yes, we must.
I mean,
That's it.
everybody can't win the Super Bowl. You got 32 teams. There's only going to be one winner.
That's it, man. Like
If you want,
competition is the spirit of men.
absolutely.
It's the woman it's the woman when they go home she makes dinner, she makes sure everybody gets the equal slice. You can't put a person with that type of mindset in power, because now you create this space where you're basically as fast as the slowest person.
And that's what the left wants to create anyway.
Come on, man. Come on.
And you know, a lot of what we're talking about always defies reality. And that's what's wrong with families and kids today. They don't live in reality. They think everything is peachy when it isn't.
That's true. I agree with that.
And we don't tell kids the truth either. We always try to give them the positive. Well, sometimes that negative can turn into a positive if you look at it, like failure. I mean, I can remember when I was in college, I failed a couple courses. I took them again. Yeah, they were hard as shit, but I did get right back up, take them, and I passed them the next time. Sometimes you're not going to get it the first time around. Doesn't mean you're an idiot. It just means that, number one, the professor was bad. Number two, your study habits were bad. Number three, you just didn't grasp the concepts. You go back at it again, and you don't give up.
Yeah.
And we live in this culture, and that's why I wanted to bring families, because it all starts with family. We live in this culture of victimization, selective outrage. We live in this culture of emotion, and that's why even when it comes to YouTube, I don't care if anybody talks about the echo chamber. We learn from each other. That's what it's all about. It's not about yelling and screaming and talking over one another. It's not. And I see the dysfunction in a number of individuals here at YouTube. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother Free Zone. I know you got something.
You know, I actually embrace disagreements, but what I actually have a problem with is someone speaking, especially a man. Let's speak for the men. I don't like men speaking from a position of weakness in any form. You know what I'm saying? So we can disagree. I don't really care. I welcome the disagreement. But when you try to spread this message that a man can't do something for whatever reason, then I'm gonna bark on you. I'm gonna bark on you, dumbass, because you're stepping in the way of people's progress, and it's no different than these dysfunctional families. To me, it's no different than the Oedipal mother that wants to keep their son in the house and make up reasons for why that kid can't, kid's 30 years old, why he can't go out on his own. To me, it's the same exact shit. So when I hear men saying that shit, it's like, nah, man, the gloves got to come off, man. That bitch assness, I'm not gonna tolerate it.
We can't just. I do see a lot of that on, and that also when I talk about the families of modernism, I see a lot of immaturity with the parents and the children. I do both directions, because we live in a society that does not offer any type of retributions for irresponsible behavior.
Right.
They reward it in some cases, but you have so many individuals in this society that are ultra sensitive and they're socially awkward. That's why you can't have a conversation with them. So they bring that emotion to YouTube, and then they project it instead of getting help.
Right. And they don't even realize that they're the victims of their own special privilege. Like the people are completely blind to the privilege that they have living in America. The same system that you talk shit about is the same system that allows you to make money without actually leaving your house.
Yes, you can.
You know what I'm saying? You can make a comfortable living without even leeching off the government. Just create businesses on your from your cell phone. The technology has made it so that you can make money anywhere. And you're sitting here complaining about whatever, the white man, the system, my family, you don't understand. It's like shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
You don't understand your privilege.
and a number of individuals, and being in the military, just like you've been in there, a number of individuals wouldn't understand what it's like to be in other countries. But I would not want to be in other countries.
Yeah, and that's why I'm glad that I lived in Japan as a kid, being, my dad being Marine Corps, because it actually gave me something. It actually gave me something outside of America to compare it to. Like there's people who haven't even left their state and they think the entire world is like their state. It ain't. There you all this these self-limiting beliefs don't exist in certain parts of the world. And these people don't understand that because they've never actually taken the risk to leave their city, their state, their mama house. They've never expanded the boundaries of what this world has to actually offer you.
I mean, Angry Snowman has a point here. Failure is actually necessary for the positive, productive development of a young mind. Without failure, you live in a fairy tale world. And
oh yeah. Yeah, failure is key to success.
That's right. It is.
You got to have it. You got to have it. Growth comes from doing things that are hard. If you're doing something that's hard, you're going to fail at it once or twice. And you know, like I said, happiness is the product of achievement. If you achieve something that's easy, you don't really gain that much happiness from it. It's when you confront things that are hard and it's hard as hell, but I finally did it. That's where the happiness comes from.
Well, success, believe it or not, is uncomfortable when you're going through the work or the notions, because let me give you an example. It's like working on your body. I get up and do exercises every day, and I don't feel like it every day, but I know the rewards from it. Well, even studying in school, yes, I know what's going to happen at the end of when I see the light at the end of the tunnel, but it's not fun. And I don't believe that today's families, and I'm not going to say all of them are like that, but today's families aren't putting that work ethic. I mean, speaking of, talking about jobs, I don't know what state you're all. I'm in Indiana, and every day I go out, I mean, they're even hiring people to work at Mickey D's for $15 an hour, and nobody wants to go to work.
I've seen homeless people with a sign begging right next to signs that say "Now hiring, will pay you $20 an hour."
I thought I was the only one that noticed that.
I have actually, I saw that not too long. I'm like, well, there's a job over there paying $17 an hour, and they want to, because here in Indiana it's cold. We get snow here, and it's 15 degrees here right now, and there are people out there begging
because they're scared to work. People are actually scared to work. They have the fear. They have workophobia.
Mm-hmm.
They can't work.
Yeah,
and
man.
see, they'll do anything to keep from working, even kill. They'll kill, steal, rob. They would do anything to keep from working.
Yeah, because in California, I don't know if you all remember this. I think their government allows them to shoplift for items, and they can't prosecute them if it's under $1,000, I believe. I'm like, what the heck?
That's why I don't want to move to California no more.
We actually saw this on TV. They were taking. Maybe this was in Chicago when they were taking, because I don't live too far from Chicago. There's always some crazy stuff going on in Chicago, I'll tell you.
Bro, they out, man. They looting everything. Once you set something like that in place, everything is for the taking. Everything. But I do have to drop off, but I'll leave with this, man. Part of if you know that your family is toxic, you got to get away from them. Whether you got to find your own way, you got to find your own way somehow, and you can't find your own way being botched down by that whole crab in the bucket mentality. You got to get yourself out of the bucket. It's survival of the fittest out here. And once the clock stops, and you don't want to get to that old age and really sit back and reflecting back on your life and have regrets because of things that you didn't do for some reason that, looking back at it, wasn't that big a deal. So, go out there and get it, put in that work, grind, and overcome fear and embrace that risk, y'all.
That's it. That's it.
That's it, man. But I'll holler at you later, 411, man. Appreciate you having me on.
All right, thank you for coming on. But going back to you, Badusi, about these. I'm trying to get it in my head about your older brother and older sister trying to live off of you with this money here, family, because that just makes my point. Because I know there's some people that believe I don't like family. I do, but I do not like the leeching fest. I mean, I work for
you have to love family from a distance.
Right.
If you have a toxic family, that is. Some families stick together. Some family love one another and help one another, but some of us are not blessed. Some of us don't have families like that. And so, especially if you know that they are toxic and they are narcissistic and lazy, and when every time they see you, they feel that you owe it to them to give them something, to take care of them, to do something for them. So, I mean, if I would let them, they will all shack up in my little apartment. If I would let them.
Yeah, and then if you let them and then you get tired of them, you tell them no. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll retaliate.
They're gonna have something to say, and they're gonna make you out to be the guilty one. It's usually the lazy and the lackluster people in this society that shame the hard workers. That's the problem, and it all comes from the lack of family. And again, Angry Snowman comes up. Wisdom comes from lack of knowing. Lack of knowing is shown through failure. Failure teaches responsibility and accountability. And speaking of work, survival says in Washington State, you make $17 an hour. And he also says shoplifting and robbery is basically legal there as well. And yeah, you got to keep your family at a distance these days. That's why I say blood is not thicker than water. You have people outside of you who treat you much better than your own family does. And the reason why I say that is because family believes, because you're blood, that you should always be there on their beckoning call. And that includes children as well. And if they don't get their way, they are going to bring in the emotionalism.
Yeah, some of them retaliate. Some of them retaliate by doing something, bringing harm to their own parents. I mean, this boy, this 18-year-old just killed his mother on Thanksgiving Day where I live.
Wow.
I don't know why, but he killed her. He stabbed her to death.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And then in New York, a few months before then, last year, this lady, it was all on the news. This lady, she tried to make her 18-year-old son go out and get a job, and he killed her.
Speaking of New York, it was in 2016, 2015. This 30-year-old was trying to sue his parents and this was in Syracuse, New York, because his parents wanted him to move out.
I saw that.
30 years old. Now that's a problem right there. And it all stems, and I did a video on it, failure to launch. I think Matthew McConaughey and Kathy Bates, and it took place in my old city of Baltimore. They had to pay somebody to get him out of the house. He didn't want to leave. His mom was doing everything for him.
Wow.
And a lot of these kids have the failure to launch syndrome. Now,
Yep.
is it their fault? Well, for the most part, when it comes to motivation, I can give you the tools, but I cannot make you use them. It's like that old saying, can take a horse to the well, but I can't make him drink. So in the end, when it comes to family, you don't want individuals in your life, and that includes family, that are going to be weights around your neck. Because if that does happen in the long run, you're going to be the one suffering. Because
Yes.
I always say this, see how many kids out here are going to take care of their parents. Now you have
Probably
some,
none.
well,
Very few. You put them in a nursing home.
put in a nursing home, they probably won't even go to the nursing home to see their parents.
And did you do you remember the story back in 2017? Joe Guy in South Carolina. The dude, okay, I got to blame his parents for this, but he was 30 something years old, right? And his parents never cut him off. So he was in, they paid for his school. It was like he was a career college person. His parents, they paid for his school, they paid for his bills, his apartment rent down in Louisiana. And so they were getting ready to retire. So they cut him off. They were like, we're getting ready to retire. We can't take care of you no more. You got to get a job and start taking care of yourself at 31 years old, right? So he couldn't take that. So he killed both of them, and he chopped their bodies up.
Wow.
Just,
Now
just Google Joel Guy.
I didn't hear about that one, but
Google Joel Guy Jr. He's in prison right now. It happened in 2017, and he put his mother's head in a pot on the stove.
wow.
It's all you can research that, but
Sounds
they
like-
cut him off at 30, and he killed them.
Sounds like the Melendez brothers back in the 80s. They weren't that prolific with the killing, but they killed their parents because they had a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these entitled kids will kill their own parents, and it all makes me think: is it the parents' fault? You know, should we be blaming the parents, or should we be blaming the child? Now, see, my mind goes back and forth. I'm like, sometimes it's the child's fault, and sometimes it's the parents' fault, because I feel that the parents need to teach their children from a young age how to be independent. They need to teach them the value of a dollar. They need to teach them, they need to prepare them for life, to be on their own. And if you pay for them all of the time, especially when they got grown, you just have to prepare your children. And then you have some parents that do that, but the children just don't want to do it. So it's like, child, it's a mess. But I could look back, and when I think about my mom, she didn't push my second oldest sister and my brother. I didn't see her pushing them to be independent.
She probably
I
did.
didn't see, I didn't see that, because I kind of wondered, maybe she wanted them to stay there. She didn't put them out. She didn't tell them to do this. She didn't tell them to get a job. She didn't do any of that. I don't remember her encouraging them to do something with themselves. Now, me and my other two sisters, we left on our own.
Well, one thing that I've always heard too is that, and I hear this from mothers. Mothers always tell their children, even when they're grown, they always have a place here. And what that does for children, particularly these days, it's a revolving door. They're coming back and forth and singing cameo back and forth and back. They're always coming back at the scene of trouble instead of taking care of the problem themselves. And yes, it's always going to be hard out here if you make poor decisions. It's always going to be hard out here if you don't have the resources. I understand that. But you have to be able to create your own opportunities. And one opportunity I say, if you hadn't gotten in trouble, this is going to sound crazy, go to the military for 4 years. You'll have everything you need for 4 years, or you can make a career of it. You'll have a job. You're going to get paid. You're going to make rank. You're going to get, and even in the military, you're going to get free college credits. That's if you choose to go that way. But if there are other jobs out here and they're not what you really want, go work them, get a paycheck, and work for something even better. Survival. My dad's rules as a teen were so strict that I was happy to move out at 18 and get a place on my own. And of course, he lived with his buddies and they all had jobs. Mrs. Snowman says, my dad is actually the one who told me I always have a place. I end up going back home a few times to start over again. Now, sometimes you do, but you don't make it a lifestyle. And that's, and I hate to bring the welfare system in play. Welfare wasn't even designed for you to live off of. Welfare was designed for you to utilize it as something temporary to help you get back on your feet again. And that's where the government has allowed this mischievous to take place. And we're always going to have problems if we come from families. And when I look at families, I'm not even talking about poor families either. I'm talking about families from the high income and low income, because on the low income, there's the struggle. That's where you get the riffraff. And on the high income, there's always spoilage going on. And this is kids are killing their parents. It's that entitlement. It's opposite sides of the same coin. Yes, blood may be thicker than water. The last time I checked, I still drown in both. Facts.
Yep.
I was eager to get back out of my parents' house, even when I had to go back. I could always go back home. Then I had to follow rules, never went back. And I know when I got fired from a job, my mom wanted me to come back, and I said I wasn't going back. I said, you're not going to have a 50-year-old man living in your house. Because my mom does have rules. Now, it's like living in communist Cuba in my mom's house, but she did it for a reason. You're grown, you should not be living at home. And I agree with that. And I just believe that too many parents make it easy. And this is why a number of parents today are the way they are. I got my buddy Big Body. He's on the panel. What's going on, brother?
Oh man, what's happening? How's everybody doing out there?
All right. Hey, we're talking about a subject, and maybe you can get in here. We're talking about parenting, grown kids living at home, past 25, 30. What's your take on it, brother?
Man, I mean, hey, it all depends. Like, I mean, if you at home because you want to be, or if you're at home because you have no choice. I mean, it depends what we talking. I mean, what if you're at home and your parents are older and need you there, or what if you're at home because you just ain't got nowhere to go, nowhere else to go, you ain't going nowhere in life, and your fucking parents are just coddling you, got you on the titty, and won't let you out in the world, and it depends on what you mean, man. There's different reasons for different people being home.
But Matt, you got some lazy folk living at home. They're not doing anything, brother.
Oh, them people.
That's who we're talking. That's who we're talking about.
Oh man, them people, man.
Yeah,
they just need to go out in 5 o'clock rush hour traffic and stand in the middle of the street, man. Fucking
Her brother and sister tried to use her for some money. And they're
man.
yeah. And that's why we talk about family being overrated. That's what we're talking about.
Man, family ain't shit, man. I'll be the first to tell you.
Go ahead and elaborate on. I knew you were going to come with that. That's why I'm glad you showed up this week. Go ahead and explain.
Man. Family ain't shit, man. They be the first to smile in your face and the next to stab you in the back, man. Sometimes your family is the motherfuckers like you versus Jonesy. We know each other through this YouTube shit, and we've met a couple times in person, but you're more of an uncle to me than my own fucking uncles, man.
And you know what? But I was saying that people sometimes outside treat you a lot better than your own family. And what about holidays? What about holidays? Do you not see any fake family members during the holidays?
All that praise the Lord and God bless you and happy holiday bullshit. All that bullshit. The next thing you know, they want to be all, fuck you, you motherfucker. I can't stand your ass. Whatever to all that honky dory, hey, happy spirit shit last week. You fucking fraudulent bitch. Fuck family, man.
I understand. That's what, and when he hadn't come around, but little Big Nate says, I like to stay 2 hours away from my family. And I understand what he's talking about too.
Yeah, man.
Again, Mr. Snowman, let me ask you something, brother Matt. I know you're old YouTuber. Did you not have rules, bro?
Rules?
Oh, yeah.
Rules as far as pertaining to what? Just
women?
Dating? What?
When you were a little younger, coming and going in the house, your mom ain't gonna let you know.
Oh yeah. Look, man, I'm from that era where it's better being before it's dark. Before the cell phone shit. Once upon a time, if you're out playing and shit, your parents could come to the porch and yell your name, and you could hear them motherfuckers from miles away down the street. It's time to get the fuck in the house.
Right.
Or when them street lights is on, your ass better be in the house. You know what I mean? Hey, look, I'm gonna take it back for you. You remember when? Well, you probably did this with your kids coming up because you're a little older. You would tell the motherfuckers, don't answer the phone for nobody. I'm gonna call and ring it twice, hang up, and then call back 3 more times, and that means it's me.
Yeah, I tried that. I tried that.
We had old methods and principles and shit, man. Like your mom or your pop say, don't answer my phone, don't answer the door for nobody unless it's me. You didn't do that shit, and they let you know if it's going to be them behind a certain way they call, or a certain way they knock on the door, or man, these kids they got it so fucking easy, and they don't have no fucking respect for shit, man. That's this generation, man.
That's another thing that Paducia was saying, and I guess Angry Snowman, he remembered about that guy. I guess he was talking about the guy that boiled his mom's head when the kid didn't get what he wanted. He killed his parents.
The fuck?
She could explain it. I didn't. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. Well, I guess the kids didn't get what they wanted. I guess it was down in South Carolina. The son killed the parents, severed the mom's head, and boiled it.
He chopped both of them up. Joel Guy Jr. Just Google Joel, Joel Guy Guy Jr. You can Google it, YouTube it, and his whole story is on YouTube or Google.
Yeah,
just Google.
Yeah, he looks crazy as heck too.
His parents hit him off at 31 up 32, and he killed them. They showed him going to Walmart and everything to get things he needed. He was he came all the way from Louisiana where he was going to school at, and he was trying to get money for him to pay his tuition like they were and to get some money from them because he wouldn't get a job. And he was like in his 30s, still in college. And his parents like, no, we are not going to pay for you anymore. We're getting ready to retire. and they had sold their house, and they were going to move to another house, and they were just getting ready to live out their golden years. And that boy was like, no, no, no. Well, that man was like, no, no, no. So he went and killed them. He killed his father first, and then when his mother came home, he killed her, and he cut both of their bodies up.
That's crazy.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, because they cut him off. And it's like people need to teach their children responsibility from a young age. From a very early age, they need to teach them how to be independent. They need to teach them to cook, to clean. They just need to teach them responsibility, money management, how to earn some money. You know, it all comes down to teaching your children and preparing them for life. You know, and giving them some kind of mental counseling.
That's true.
You know, if at first you don't succeed, pick yourself up and try again.
Absolutely.
Like you were saying about, you know, like schoolwork and studying. When I was in school and college, I would make myself read the whole chapter over again. I would read the chapter twice, and I would always make a passing grade.
Yeah, I mean, you have to do it. I mean, it's uncomfortable. Just like Angry Mrs. Snowman says, kids need to learn early real world skills. Success is horrible. I mean, I remember telling Brother Matt when I got my he's on the panel. I got my CDL. I passed the air brakes part the first time, but it took me 5 times to pass the general knowledge section. But I didn't give up, and I just believe that kids believe they can give up and somebody's still going to hand them something. That doesn't happen in the real world. And then when it doesn't work their way, they're taking their mom's head and putting in the pot of water, boiling it. Man,
yes, they will retaliate.
You gotta be
rejection.
Go ahead.
You have got to be a sick motherfucker to even take it to that extreme to sever somebody's head off and bullet, let alone your mother. Jeez, like what the fuck is going through your head to do some shit like that? You know?
They didn't get their way. It's like the Menendez brothers back in the 80s. They did the same thing. Their parents had money. They came home. The parents came home. They killed their parents. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yep, it happens with all races. And see, that's why I like to talk in general, because see, I am a true crime fan in the first place, and I watch these things, and the local news, I watch it faithfully. And a lot of these crimes, they stem from entitlement. People not teaching their children how to take rejection, and they are not teaching them how to get off their behinds and get a job, and teaching them money management. See,
right.
we must prepare our children for life, and people are not doing that. They are lacking. They're just having children and expecting the children to raise themselves.
Yeah, or just put them in front of a screen and say, "Here, watch this. Just watch this on social media, or watch this on YouTube, or play this video game for entertainment and amusement." Instead of picking up a book and reading something and learning like we didn't have internet coming up, you know.
You have to take time with children, and that is a hard job, because not only do you have to provide for them, you must teach them. You must teach them how to become decent, productive citizens.
Right. Well, because if you don't,
or else society will pay. Yeah, that's why these little boys and grown men are out here robbing and killing people, because number one, they do not want to work.
Right.
And then they have no social skills. They can't take rejection. They feel that rejection is disrespect, and then they feel that if they are disrespected, then they must retaliate. And that's just the mindset of these children, or people, period, in my opinion. they're not taught how to handle rejection. They're lazy and they are entitled. And see, all of those, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
That's and when we are giving children everything, again, I'm not blaming it all on the children because I do see adults that sabotage their children. Let me give you an example. Uh, there was this football player, and I guess he was on national TV. Well, he was going to be a football player. I believe he was going to go to, I don't know, the University of Alabama or Tennessee. Well, the minute he announced where he was going to go, the mother took the letter and tore it up, I believe.
You talking about he went to Florida and the mother got up and left?
That's it. That's it. That's it. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So the guy couldn't even make up his own mind where he wanted to go because his mom wanted him to go to the school she wanted him to go to.
Well, see, this behind that was because he was caught up in a lot of gang stuff in Florida. And she didn't want him going that direction.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, hey, look. At the end of the day, he's a young man going to eventually be a man. He got to make his own decisions. You know, she's got to take the titty out the mouth, and whatever happens with him happens with him. You know, you want to go to Florida, you want to go to school in Florida, and you possibly get caught up in that gang shit. You got to deal with what comes with it, man. You know,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
You're a man.
The only people are entitled to are the consequences of their actions, and that's it. The only thing people are entitled to are the consequences of their actions. That's true, Angry Snowman. That's true. Washbum Billy, this lady is locked up. Yeah, throwing all kinds of truth out there. But yeah, but you got to let when a child is doing some. See, I want children to get their praise when they do something right. But now, when I say praise, I'm not talking about doing your job. Okay, I think we got to teach children that when you do your job, you're not necessarily going to get a pat on the back. Yeah, you want people to appreciate you, but in the real world, it doesn't happen. The real world doesn't owe you understanding. It really doesn't. When it comes to family, yes, family should be a good support system other than elite system. And I had to bring this topic up because I just see so many families out there that act as if they are cohesive, and they're not. They're not. They put on the show, and you find a dysfunction. If you find a dysfunction in your own family, believe it, you're going to see that same dysfunction in other families too. I mean, no family is perfect, but you just have too many families out here who are faking the funk out here. They are. And when I look at the kids on one hand and the parents on the other hand, seeing the opposite sides of the same coin. Because these parents aren't really grown up themselves. They're not. And it comes from the Gen X generation, late baby boomers, the millennials.
Yeah, and some you got to understand too, some of these mothers had their children while they were like 13, 14, 15, 16.
Yeah, that's true too. And that's why they're 39-year-old or 35-year-old grandmothers, because the cycle has repeated itself over and over again. And
Yes.
continue to repeat itself because the government, again, they're part of the problem too. They give incentives for single motherhood. Now, again, this video is not about single motherhood, but let's be honest, particularly in the urban area, a number of these kids, they come from that type of environment.
Yes. And they are taught that if you have a child, then you will get paid. And I think that too, and whatever the reason, I know my sister got pregnant because all of her friends were getting pregnant.
That
And
happens too. Yeah.
yeah, and see, a lot of kids were getting pregnant when I was coming up, and my sister was one. And when children have children, they don't know enough to even teach their children for real. Uh,
True.
because wow, it's like it's wow. I don't know where to begin. Uh, this her son. He wow. I don't know what to say for him. He's smart, but uh, he is okay. His father's mother raised him because she didn't really raise him. She just went and got him and spent an hour with him, and then she took him back. But I thought that he would be more knowledgeable than he is. See, he's about to be 31 this year. Okay, and see, this cycle repeated itself. It repeated itself because it's like she passed. My sister passed when he was 18, right?
Right.
And so I tried to help him. I'm like, you need to be in school. So I sent him to Job Corps. I helped him get in Job Corps, and I begged him to stay in Job Corps, but he stayed there 6 months, got his GED and a trade, and he thought that was enough. And I was begging him to stay there. I was like, stay there, get all you can. But he didn't want to do that. He just wanted to get out and start living his life, right? And it's like, as soon as he got out, he started making babies from left to right. And I was trying to help him. But it's like, so now you have 4 children by 2 women, and one of them got you on child support. I mean, yes, you work very hard, but your money is you're not making a lot of money, and then you have to pay for these children that you had, and then you have yourself to take care of. And I was really trying to help him before he got himself in that well. But like you said, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. So, I had to wish him well and going about my business. I don't know what he's doing now because I haven't seen him in 4 years, but
Right.
I really wish him well. We really need to, wow, wow, it's crazy.
Well,
See, we really need to teach our children and, give them some type of knowledgeable tools. We really got to spend time with our children,
yeah, but
and
they
we
got
have to teach
children
them.
also when they get a certain age, they have to want to listen too because
Yeah,
other outside influences. Angry snowman. My children know they aren't messing up when I'm not screaming at them. That's their praise for me. Mrs. Snowman says, I will never understand the women who pop out kids for the paydays. No way they are bringing in enough money to justify the insanity we go through as parents. I did drop the link if any more people want to come up to the link and discuss this. I've dropped it a few times and I'm only going to be on for another maybe 30 minutes. So come on up to the link and chime in. We're talking about, is family overrated? Children living at home? Uh, what's the significance of the family? I got the poll up. The poll, 28 votes in. Do parents try to get their children to like them? 82% say yes. 18% say no. But you're welcome to come up on the panel to discuss this. Other than that, this is a good topic, good stream. But again, I'm going to repeat myself. I do not dislike family. I come from a decent family. I've had issues in my own family, but it does appear that good outside forces that you're not related to do treat you a little better.
Mm-hmm.
I just believe that family tends to be selfish. You have a number of guys out here who, in my humble opinion, they don't know how to have conversations. They're sensitive. They don't know how to deal with rejection. In the end, the real world, if men and women don't understand what's going on, the system's going to take care of them, and the system is incarceration, and with incarceration comes a bad record. Salute. Thank you, Anna, for joining the panel. I dropped the link. You're always welcome to come up. But again, I don't want to put all the blame on the children. That's what I'm saying as well. But
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to think that the children are the only problems. But it does appear that some of these children out here are running a household. I've seen some children be very disrespectful to their mom, called her mom out of her name, told the mom what to do, but the child's still living in the house. And when you are being disrespectful to your so-called own blood, well, when you get out in the real world, I believe you're going to do the same thing, but your own blood is not checking you on your behavior. That's a problem too. That's a problem too. All right.
Mhm.
Thank you, Washburn Billy, for coming up here. You're tired. Hey, great stream. You're always welcome to come on up here. You're always welcome. I'll be streaming again next Friday. We talk about the liquor stores, how much money they make in some of these, how much money poor people spend on liquor a year. I was supposed to do that tonight. I didn't get that. So I wanted to do this topic. Brother Matt, he's
I'm
back.
back. I'm back.
Okay. Um, like we've talked about, and we've been on YouTube for a while, Brother Matt. How many people have you seen up here? And I'm talking about guys. We already know the women, but the guys. How many of these guys up here have you seen come around with a very sensitive attitude? You've seen it. I've seen it. You know it. We know a few up here.
No, quite a few. Quite a few. I don't want to do any names over the
Well, don't
airwaves,
drop
but
me
you
names.
know,
Don't drop
me and
me
you.
names. I know. Yeah, don't drop me names. I
Yeah,
know.
I'm pretty sure that you can name the same people with the same.
Yeah. I get it. But yeah, children running a household for Mrs. Snowman is still the parents' fault.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm a firm believer in that because if you don't have no, that's the word I'm looking for, balls to run a household that you pay bills in, then you can't fault nobody but yourself once shit starts collapsing on you, man. It's your shit. Even if you're renting it, at the end of the day, you're the fucking captain of the boat. If you let somebody come in and steer your fucking boat, then you deserve everything. You deserve everything that comes to you, man.
Yeah, I agree. Like I agree with you, brother Matt. But if you look at these parents, though, look at the maturity of some of these parents. I mean, that's my biggest hang up. These parents trying to be friends with their children,
Man,
living
fuck
as
them goddamn kids, man.
well, they're living as okay. If they have a daughter, I call it a sister-daughter relationship where they're hanging out at the clubs together, messing around with the same man, wearing the same clothes. I mean, it is quite problematic. And then the son husband. You know, the son is running around being the man of the house. He doesn't know anything about what it is to be responsible. That's a big problem out here. And these are and I say this because on a woman's side, these are the women who are putting profiles on Plenty of Fish or other sites saying they're looking for a man, and then the man runs into that dysfunction. And I didn't sign up for that. Mm-mm. And this is why I know these women, because they're in that chaos, they become HTs, human toilets for a man. I hate to say that. It's just about smash and dash. Because and women, they don't even want that. They don't want me, because there are more and more men doing the same thing. I mean, you living with your kids too. I mean, parents are living with their kids. They're asking their kids for money as well. I've seen that too in Baltimore. That's horrible. And there's no hierarchy. That's it, Miss. There's no hierarchy. Dad and mom aren't participating in any hierarchy. When you put your kids on the same hierarchy as adults, that's problematic. Kids are going to go out and disrespect all types of authority. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to be running in and out of your house. Failure to launch. And that is not good. These kids out here won't be good husbands or good wives. They won't. And some of them don't even think about the future. They think about now. Think about what they can get. A lot of entitlement going on out here.
Yes, entitlement and a lack of responsibility, a lack of accountability. Also, this is just where we are in our society. Because I'm gonna go here again. You have people who feel that, first of all, they could do what they want to do and not suffer the consequences of their actions. And it starts with using a condom when they have sex to try to prevent pregnancy in the first place. Okay? If you have unprotected sex, there's a good chance that pregnancy will occur.
Yes, it will.
People are not taking responsibility when it comes to that right there, period. And then when pregnancy does occur, they act as though they don't know how it happened. Okay, and see, when that happens, see, there's a lack of family planning right there. People, we need to start planning things, and we there are things that we can control. Okay, but then when the child gets here, we need to teach that child how to be a decent, productive human being. And people, they don't want that responsibility. They just want to take that child and let it raise itself half of the time. Or
go ahead.
If there's just more than just providing food, clothing, and shelter, there needs to be some kind of counseling going on and teaching.
Well, I also believe
you have to make children learn.
I also believe the parents need to be model citizens as well, because just because these parents have children and they basically have the title of mother and father, it doesn't mean that they are doing the job with their children. It really doesn't. Some of these mothers and fathers, they pawn their children off on their parents so they can go out and continue to live their lives that they didn't have because they had children. I see a lot happening, and I see a lot of grandmothers taking on children.
I see a lot of grandmothers my age at 36, 37, 35.
That's because they had kids when they were 14, 15, and 16.
Yeah. My daughter's mom was a grandmother at 36. I laugh every time.
Now, one of my nephew's baby mother, I went to school with one of my nephew's baby mamas. And see,
Damn.
she had her when she was 15. And we're the same age. And now she has 3 grandchildren. And we're the same age. We're just 42. And she has, 3 grandchildren right now.
Good gracious.
Hey.
That's gonna be it. And the cycle is gonna, because they don't know any better, because again, when it comes to parents out here, kids are always a direct reflection of their parents. But again, when parents aren't running their household, and I know there's a lot of divorces taking place and some widowers are going on, but one thing I do see, especially when the divorces are taking place, and I don't see it too much with the men. I see it with the women. Too many women are trying to get back out in the dating scene, even if they have children. And what that's doing, it's basically confusing the children, because a number of these women have men going in and out of their house, all a revolving door. And it used to be, in the 90s, a lot of men were stepdaddies. They're not trying to play that stepdaddy anymore.
Hell no. There's always there's always mama got to do what she got to do to make shit happen, even if I got to be the guy to make sure the kid get them school clothes, Hey, girl, I know your money funny, girl. Come on over, toot that thing up and get this money from me. Make sure them stinking ass kids get their school clothes,
Got next on the panel, Matt. You remember this guy? He's the opposite. He's the same as you, Angry Snowman.
My nigga.
What to do? Go ahead, brother. Angry Snowman. You know what we're talking about.
Hey, man. All I was going to say is this, man.
Go ahead,
Biggest
brother.
problem with kids today, and why we got a bunch of fucking kids turning into fucking self-righteous, entitled little bastards as adults, is because we got parents that are more interested in being their kid's friend than being their fucking parent.
Exactly.
You know what? Your kids got enough motherfucking friends out there causing them to make dumbass decisions and do stupid shit to get themselves in trouble. They don't need you being another fucking friend to them. They need you being a fucking parent. They need you showing them how to get through life without fucking shit up. They need you to show them that there's consequences to dumbass fucking actions.
True. That.
I agree. I agree with him on that one, man. A lot of these fucking kids are so stuck on thinking that they're entitled or that they can fucking do what the fuck they want to do, and their parents aren't their parents. Their parents are more like their friends and shit, man. It comes a time where, as a parent, you need to fucking put your foot down, let your fucking kid know who the fuck is running the show and shit,
Yeah, these kids are sitting around.
All my kids know who's running the show. All the kids know who's running the show in my house. Yes, I believe in freedom, but my house is a motherfucking communist house. What I say
I
goes.
believe in whooping ass. I believe in whooping ass.
Hey, the belt works. So we've been
So
saying.
do I. So do I, dude. And you know what? The truth of the matter is if you raise your kids properly, you don't have to whoop their ass.
Well, you might you don't have to give them one or two throughout the a couple just throughout the lifespan.
You're gonna have to get it out once in a while, bro.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Especially if you got boys, because you always want that one boy's going to try to poke his chest up at you. You got to fucking let him know who the fuck is, who the boss is.
Look, bro, I got a 7-year-old son right now that I keep telling him that I don't think he's going to make it till puberty before I knock him out.
God damn.
Yeah, but that's the thing. See, with these children too, these parents, I didn't mention it. I think somebody's afraid of their kids. I really do. I think some of these parents are really afraid of their kids. I do.
Well, they are, man, because kids have been empowered by the system to believe that they got rights, and they don't have rights. And no system, no school fucking teacher, nobody has a right to undermine parents and tell fucking kids that they have rights over their fucking parents. The only right they have is the right to shut the fuck up and do what the fuck they're told.
Yeah, I believe in that too. And you know what it is too? You ain't got no fucking men in the household, man, because I'll be goddamned if I'm scared of a fucking kid especially something that I done brought into this fucking world.
Yeah.
I'll be goddamn, man. Fuck that. You know, like, let's be for real, man. A woman can only do but so much, and I'm not going to sit here and downplay or discredit a woman. A woman can only do but so much, but when you got a fucking man in the household, it just ain't a whole bunch of shit getting ready to be fucking overlooked or waved off and shit, man. Especially a nigga that's laying down some law and setting some fucking order in the household. You know what I'm saying?
You got
hey, let's keep it real. As much as I was afraid of my mom as a child, there came a point in my life where that fear went right out the window.
Yeah. And you got to have, and when it comes to men, you can't have a docile man in the house and a domineering woman, because a woman's going to lead on emotion for the most part. Yeah, you got a lot of docile guys out there. And yes, Mr. Snowman, you earn being your parents' friend when you are well into adulthood while you are still a child.
No, we're not friends, though. Me, that's the one thing. When it comes to a kid, we're not friends. I'm your fucking parent. You're the fucking child. We're not friends. Your peers are over there in school or the fucking kids you play with outside. I'm not your fucking friend. That's what these kids fail to fucking realize.
I might think about being your friend once you have a couple dumbass kids like you and you realize what it's like to deal with a couple dumbass kids.
Hey, yeah, Washburn Billy. That's another YouTuber of mine. Is the one? It's brother Matt Coley. That's why you can't read it.
Yeah, it's Big Body Productions, but they call me Matt Coley, man.
Yeah,
I knew that voice sounded familiar.
Yeah, it's me.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
But nah, man. To touch on what you were saying earlier too about parents letting their kids live in their house until their 30s and 40s. That's the biggest mistake a parent could ever make with their kid. Because really, in all honesty, you should be kicking your fucking kid out of the house when you're still in a position to be able to help them when they fuck up.
Yeah.
Right.
And you ain't helping them learn anything by keeping a roof over their head and feeding them and making sure everything's okay. You need to get them out there and get them realizing that there's more to life than what's under mom and dad's roof. They need to realize that there's consequences to their actions. There's consequences to decisions that are made. It's okay for parents to help out here and there when a kid fucks up, but to make it to where a kid doesn't ever fuck up is not helping a kid out at all, ever, at all.
No, facts. I agree. As an adult, my mom and our best friends now, while I was a kid, no. Well, when you were a kid,
I hated my mom when I was a kid. Hated her.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I know how that is, but
for real, I can't count how many times I prayed to God to either take my mom or me, one or the other. Please just kill one of us.
Well, that's funny that you say that, because at least we wanted to leave. Kids today just don't want to leave.
Yeah, as soon as I turned 18, Leon, the day I turned 18, I packed my shit and I moved the fuck out of the house. My mom called the cops on me and everything, tried to get me arrested and all kinds of shit. And the cop was like, "What do you want me to do? He's 18 years old."
Yeah.
And a lot of these kids are stuck in a state of arrested development. They don't want to grow up or take any kind of responsibility. In fact, they are afraid.
Well, that's what happens when you spend a whole lifetime being told that you're just as good as the dude beside you that worked 3 times as hard as you while you sat there and twiddled your fucking thumbs your whole life.
True that.
Yeah. Facts. That is true. And that's why I said we have a society out here. The reason why it's suffering now, because people don't want to grow up. I mean, I even see the parents. They don't want to grow up. They never want to grow up. I mean, they want to stay young forever. But, I've seen.
Nah, you know what it is, Leon?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
A lot of these dumb motherfuckers, man. They fucked their life up early in the game out there smoking, drinking, fucking having kids. And now they they see a fucking window of opportunity to show their ass and think they still got it. Nah, bitch. You washed the fuck up. You done up. We call it done up out here, man. You done up. Sit your old ass the fuck down, man.
Yeah. Yeah, kids are too comfortable at home. That's true.
Shit.
You know, and because of all these young kids that are having kids now we don't have a group of adults that, you know, like you said earlier, your grandpas and your grandmas now are in their fucking 30s. You know, it might be lucky to be pushing 40. Where do you have any wisdom being 40 years old to teach your child or your grandchild? You've still yet to live any fucking life.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you gotta have resources. A lot of you know the number, but even the ones with the resources, they spoil their kids too. So it works on both sides of the seesaw here. The ones in the suburbs are buying their kids Beamers, and they're you know there's this show that I watch. It comes on USA. It's called Chrisley Knows Best. You may have heard of that show. Kind of metrosexual patriarchal dude. Oh man, he gives that little girl Chloe the world. I'm talking about he spends money on that on Chloe. And I'm saying, well, you're not teaching your kids how to do anything. You're not letting
You know, I spoil my kids too, but my kids also know that they can lose.
Yeah. I work around kids reaching adult age. I see different results from parents who raise kids right and parents who spoil their kids. It's crazy seeing the extreme difference.
I'm gonna tell you what, there ain't nothing better. There ain't no better fucking look of shame on a child's face when you're trying to teach them a lesson, when you make them go in their bedroom and choose what toys they got to come up off of because they fucked up.
Yeah, that's true. That's
You know, I don't even pick anymore. I make them go in and pick, because eventually, if they some badass kids like mine can be sometimes, eventually they're gonna run out of them fucking arbitrary, meaningless toys that they don't give a shit about anymore, and they're just gonna start digging into the shit they really care about.
Yeah, and what is it with kids these days with an iPhone? I've seen that too. iPhone 13. I can't even afford an iPhone.
Shit, I can't afford an iPhone. But at the same time, I'll be honest, you know, my son and my daughter, they have a lot of shit that I didn't have as a kid. You know, but I also let them, like I said, they also know that shit can be taken away and removed just as fast as it was given to them, and I don't play when it comes to that. Once it's gone, you never know when it's going to get back. Hell, at one point in time, my son thought he lost his Switch for life because I told him he lost it for life.
Oh, the Nintendo Switch.
You know, told him he was never going to get on Google ever again for the rest of his life until he turned 18.
Well,
oh man, that boy about came unglued, man. Well, how am I supposed to be a YouTuber? How am I supposed to ever do anything?
Another thing too that has kids, and I briefly mentioned it. A number of them are hanging out on Facebook, TikTok, OnlyFans. I mean, they're seeing stuff that they shouldn't be viewing either. And some of the parents let them do it as well. You have a lot of permissive parents out here.
The parents don't care because the parents are living their own lives and they just don't want to be bothered.
That's true too.
Yep. A lot of parents use all these new devices and technologies and web pages and this, that, and the other as a way to parent their kids. So they ain't got to.
And be worried about why the police don't showed up at their door.
Right. Shit, the police ever show up at my door, the kids are going to be more worried about me than they are the fucking police. They're going to be begging the police to arrest their ass. Please take me to jail, just like I did when I was a kid.
Yeah. And so you have to be, you know, kids don't have any fear, therefore they don't value life. I mean, yeah, kids out there killing their parents. I mean, I know that happened here. That happened here, and I did a video on it. It happened in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where a 20-year-old kid killed his whole family. It happened in Indianapolis too.
It happens every day somewhere, Leon.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, but hey, fella. Hey, but I just wanted to hop on real quick, show my support, say what's up, brother.
Hey,
I just got home.
Hey, thank you for coming up thank you for coming up, bro. I mean,
Always, my man.
You
Hey,
know,
shout out to the panel.
Hey,
Brother down there, always appreciate talking to you. The lady up on the top, man. First time I've ever got to hear to you, but you was dropping some serious truth bombs earlier today, man. Appreciate that.
all right,
But I'm
now.
gonna get out of here.
All right, I
Have a
appreciate
good
it.
all right, man. You take it easy, brother. Take it
Peace,
easy,
love, and
brother.
hair grease to everybody, man.
All
Nah.
right. All right, now. Once again, thank you for coming on up. But again, this was a good topic, and again, I'm just going to say it again. I'm not picking on the children. I just want to get abreast of the foundation of why children are the way they are. And parents can do everything right and children could come out poor. It's the influences children have around them. Again, if you're buying them iPhones, if you're buying them Jordans, if you give it, another thing that I dislike is when it comes to the dinner table. It used to be where everyone ate what was on the menu. Now, if the child doesn't like something, the child will request you to cook him or her something else, which to me, you can't give that child that much power when they're living under your roof.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big problem.
If I didn't eat what my mama cooked, I just didn't eat.
Man, you know what's crazy is you say this shit. My daughter's mom's a piece of shit because she does everything exactly what you're saying. She goes against it with my daughter, and my daughter thinks it's okay until she comes over to under my custody for the weekends, and then the little shit she tries to pull over at home, she knows she can't do here because I did that shit. When you fucking talking about you don't want vegetables, I don't give a fuck what you don't want. I tell her straight out. I talk to her like she's a motherfucker in the street when she started talking about what she don't want. I don't give a fuck what you don't want. Motherfucker, you gonna eat that shit or you gonna fucking starve?
That's right.
I don't give a fuck. I got some people talking about, you shouldn't talk to your child. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Don't tell me how to fucking talk to mine.
Yeah.
One thing mine ain't gonna be no fucking statistic of a modern day society of a piss poor ass piece of shit ass child that's out here, man. These kids are fucking terrible today, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And they think they can get out in the real world and act the same way that they treat their parents.
Nah, we ain't having that.
Right. And and when you don't teach kids boundaries, they think they can do anything they want. I mean, freedom is something we fought for, but behind freedom is responsibility.
Yep.
And parents aren't teaching their kids that. Parents aren't even telling the kids the truth. Parents are saying everything is going to be all right. No, you got to let kids know that, hey, no, you fucked up. You're going to have to pay the consequences. We're not telling them that. We're trying to make them feel like everything is peachy creamy. You don't have to worry about anything. That's fake. And that's the problem. That's why I say when it comes to family is definitely overrated in that sense. Family is like I said before, it's more or less a brag fest or a leech fest. Because in essence, just because they're your own blood, they have more entitlement than somebody that's not related to you.
Yep.
Well, let me say this. Because their family doesn't even give them fucking entitlement because you got some family out there that are they're so fucked up in your book to where, look, you're not entitled to say shit to me. Fuck you. We're just related, man. We can't change that, but that ain't gonna, like I got for instance, I got cousins and other relatives that I would allow to reprimand and discipline my daughter if she's not within in my custody at the moment. But then I got other relatives that I'll be like, oh, fuck no, you don't shut the fuck up, stay in your lane, don't, because it's just some family members that are so fucked up in my book with me to where they don't have the right to say or the authority to say shit to me about anything that I'm doing. You burnt that bridge. You got a lot of family members that burn a lot of bridges, man.
Yeah.
So you don't want nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
And they think they can call you at any time and they don't care about your time.
Yeah. And see, there's another fucked up shit with family, man. You got a lot of those family members, and I've been staring away from them for these past couple of years because I've financially, I've been in a better place as far as my money's been getting a little better.
Same way with me.
Yeah, you know what happens with that.
Yeah, so now I noticed that these motherfuckers only want to call you when they want something, or when they, Matt's got a truck. Let's see if he'll, because we're family. Let's see if he'll go ahead. No, fuck you. Because if I wasn't around, if I didn't have a truck, you would try somebody else. You would pay them. So if you don't want to fucking pay me, what the fuck? Well, fuck you. Nah, don't even call me. You don't call me any other time unless you want something from me. Get the fuck. Just lose my number.
And that even goes for your own. That even goes for your own kids. Because I know one of my, if I didn't give her something, which I, don't talk to me like that. They think you got to be an ATM machine. You got to be there on their beckoning call.
Nah.
You got to be their slave. I'm like, no, I'm not your slave. I'm not your slave. But a number of parents fall for that, though. This is why the kids are running them.
Mm-hmm. And see, I don't have any children. I've never been pregnant. And the thing is with that is my family feels that because I don't have any children of my own, that I am supposed to take care of them and their children. And see, once they realized that wasn't true, see, I had to teach them that I didn't have to take care of them, nor did I owe them anything. And I had to stay away from them too because they wanted to retaliate in some kind of way. I mean,
Absolutely.
My sister sent me a death threat over Facebook.
Wow.
Because I stopped giving her my money. I told her, look, I have my own bills to pay. And I was like, I don't want you all asking me for my money when I come down there. And see, then she went off on me on Facebook talking about, I think I'm this and that, and I done got high and looking low and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. I just ignored her because I'm like, I don't have any children. I have my own bills to pay and I have my own self to take care of. And I need you to not ask me for my money. Because see, every time I go around them, all of them ask me for my money. Them, their children, So I just stopped going around them. Because see, when they look at me, when they see me coming, they see a teller machine coming. It's like you can almost see dollar signs in their eye.
You know what's crazy about that? I'm glad you said that. God rest my father's soul. He always told me, motherfuckers wake up in the morning trying to learn and figure out how they can spend your money. So you got to be on top of your game to make sure you can dodge the bullshit because you always got a motherfucker out there plotting on your pocket.
True. Yeah. That's a good point. That's true. Yeah.
And my older sister tried to jump on me one time about my own money.
Your money.
I wouldn't give it my money.
Your money. Ain't that about a bitch?
Mm-hmm. About my own money.
Yeah,
they were scared to work.
Well, that's
nobody
because
in my family like
they
work.
don't have. That's because they don't have what you got now. I mean, they don't know how to manage their own money. They're trying to tell you they want a piece of what you got. And you know what? That's why I know when my family asked me, about the business and getting raised, I never told them anything. I said, no, I'm doing all right. You know why? I didn't want them to know.
That's right. Because see, they'll retaliate against you in some kind of way.
Well, they try to make you feel bad if you don't give them anything. I'm like, This ain't gonna happen,
And,
Cap.
and see, they were somewhat having that discussion on, I think it was the Dana show with Judge Joe Brown was on there. A caller had called in and said something about how the educated blacks are supposed to help, the rich educated blacks are supposed to help the poor blacks. And then somebody else called in and say, well, did nobody help us get to where we got to? So what do we owe, them? And when I can understand where she was coming from, because from my experience, nobody helped me get a job. Nobody helped me get to where I got to now. In fact, they tried to pull me down. They tried to stop me. That crab in a bucket mentality is real.
Oh, it's definitely.
Oh
real.
yeah.
So, when I got away from my family and, I had to move to another city, and then I had to, work hard and do what I had to do and learn the things that I learned, to take care of myself. They feel that they felt that I owe it to them to take care of them. They feel that I owe them something. And
what's crazy? What's crazy? Check this out. What the fuck they was gonna do if you wasn't around, right? Right?
That's right.
So check this shit out, right? All they gotta do is just act like you're not around and figure it the fuck out. There it is, motherfuckers.
They were gonna have to, because see, I had to leave them alone.
Yeah, they don't.
I had to leave them alone because I haven't seen them in some years.
Yeah, Mr. Snowman, I'll be that mama smacking the kid upside the head on the news if they do something stupid. Oh, that's true. That's true. So, but what I'm getting ready to do, I'm getting ready to end it here. Get ready for some football this beautiful weekend.
Okay.
I am happy that you all came up, and I want your last words about the topic. And I also want to see what kind of opinion you got on families. After you give me your last words about being on the panel, I just want to hear about, is family relevant? So your first, Paducia.
I feel that family is relevant to a certain extent. So, and sometimes we have to love them from a distance, and that's just where I am with mine. I love them, but I love them from a distance, and that's just it. Family is good, but sometimes family can be bad also. It depends on how they are. That's my last. Those are my last words.
All right. Well, I thank you for coming up on this panel. I'm going to go ahead and drop you down. The next one, I'm going to talk about the liquor stores and the African-American community next week. So be there next Friday, 7-ish Eastern Standard Time.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. Brother Matt, your final words.
When it comes to family, if you're not genuine, you ain't shit. Family's about love, bonding, and being there for one another and actually caring. If you don't fit that criteria, then you're not family. And you don't have to be biologically connected to be considered family. Clearly, as I said earlier, me and you know each other how we know each other through how we know each other. But at the end of the day, you serve to me, I would look at you more of an uncle than some of my own fucking uncles, That just go to show where the love is. Because I say it like this: I don't know how many nephews or sons you may have, but at the end of the day,
only got one
look,
son, man.
well, at the end of the day, if we out and about or whatever the case may be, you already know I'm one of them cats you can count on. If you needed to come holler at me, if you needed me to jump on somebody for you, even if you needed me to wire you a couple thousand, whatever the case may be.
Oh,
That's where the love and the family bond is at, man.
oh,
You ain't got to be biologically connected.
Hey, brother Matt, me and Tommy G were talking about this. Boy, if you were on last week's panel, when you hadn't, we had this dude that came up. He was talking all kinds of nonsense. Yeah.
You should have shot me a text. I'd have jumped right on.
Oh, I know you would. yeah. I know you would have. That's why I didn't do it. But we handled it. But my boy Free Zone Lou. That's why on here now. I announced that we on this panel we can't have these Negroes coming up here bombarding our panels here. But yeah.
Well, sometimes you got to fight fire with water. And you can just use me as the water. I'll put his ass
I
out.
know how you get, though. I know how you get. I mean, you know me, I'm a little bit more comedy you are, because I saw you go off while I was on the phone when you were off on one of the YouTubers, when you were off on Angry Man. I remember that. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, right to the point, I mean, nothing against him, that was then, this is now, but like I told him, look, fuck all this back and forth shit. Here's my fucking address. Let's go. Yeah. Or you give me your location. How you want to do it? You want me to fly you up here? Or you want me to fly to you? What the fuck you want to do? I ain't with all this goddamn talking and shit.
Yeah, that's what they do up here, man. But yeah, man. We're gonna talk about, because this will be right in your eye. You live in Canada. We're gonna talk about all the liquor stores. I talked about the churches last week. I sent you the link last week. I said, hey, you get the link. I send out the link every Friday, and I'm gonna try to send it out a day ahead so you know it. That one I was a little quick on, but I'm gonna make sure I send it out a day ahead of time so you know exactly. So, but again, man, thank you for coming up here, my brother.
Oh man, you already know. Anytime I can make it, I'm here, man.
All right, and if you can't, just we'll jump on it another time. But again, let me have your last words again so I can close this out, get mine in there, and get ready for some football this weekend, bro.
Family ain't shit unless it's genuine and they're from the heart, man. And another thing is, if you're a certain age and you're living at home, make sure there's a real purpose behind it. Don't just be living to just be freeloading, man. Make sure there's something behind it, man. Because life is about growth and moving forward, not sitting still. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and for the on a football tip, on a sidebar.
Go ahead, Bert.
I think it's going to be St. Louis and
you mean the Rams?
Yeah, St. Louis and Cincinnati.
What? You got the Bengals?
Yeah. Huh? Yeah, yo, they surprised me with the Titans. I thought they were going to lose that shit.
I thought they were going to lose too. So oh man, I got Kansas City in the Rams, man. I mean,
Kansas City barely pulled that off with that overtime. They won that based off the rules, man. They were getting slammed, man.
I don't like that. I don't like those overtime rules either. I mean, I don't care if you score a touchdown. Let both teams have the ball and either play it out, or you let the other team have the ball. You stop and you score. After you scored your points, you win. Yeah, I got you. They need to change.
They're going to change that rule. I'm sure. After that, they're going to change that rule. I'm sure.
Yeah, they need to change that rule. I mean, because something else happened. If the kicker had kicked the ball not into the end zone, but down to maybe the 5-yard line, where the runner had to return the ball, because once you touch the ball, the clock stops.
Right.
Now, the only thing is, if he had kicked the ball to the 5-yard line and it bounced and the ball wasn't touched and it landed right there, But heck, they would. I'd rather put them at the 5-yard line than put them at the 25-yard line.
If he did a good squib kick, he might have been able to get away with something. A good squib.
Yeah. So I mean, how you going to get a field goal from your 25-yard? He drove just over 50 yards in 13 seconds. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. He did some Tom Brady shit.
No, they were both balling back and forth because they were losing too, and that quarterback Buffalo got.
Yeah. I see him eventually get in the ring or at least going to the bowl. He just a little bit more time. He's almost there.
Josh Allen. I don't know, man. We'll see because Cincinnati beat Kansas City, but they're playing at home, brother Matt. They're playing at home. This is gonna be a tough one, man. I mean, hell, I was shocked to see Green Bay lose. What are you talking about?
Well, let's be for real, man. Aaron Rodgers chokes in the playoffs. It's been proven now.
Yeah, but he lost twice in the frozen tundra. He lost to the Giants one time, and he lost to the 49ers.
I mean, the Giants at one point were a team that you could, they'll upset you out of nowhere, man. I mean, you see what they did to the infamous Tom Brady twice.
Yeah, well, Tom Brady got knocked out too.
I think he's going to hang it up after this year. He needs to.
Well, heck, you up 20. The Rams up 27-3. They almost lost that game.
Yeah.
I mean, with like 30 seconds left, the Rams threw that bomb and they won that game. So it was exciting last week, but this week we'll see how it comes up. But I still got Kansas City and the Rams. They
think so?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's going to be close, but Kansas City has
that Matthew Stafford, man. I mean, that's why. I mean, that was the missing piece that they needed over there.
Yeah.
St. Louis or what? LA now?
Now, I'm not saying that an upset can't happen. Frisco can't win that game, or Cincinnati can't win that game. But Kansas City puts up a lot of points. They don't have any people, but Cincinnati does too. I know they balled out my Ravens and the Steelers a few times, but the Ravens and the Steelers had guys hurt. So
right. Hey, how you feel about Ben Roethlisberger retiring, man? About damn time.
About damn time, man. But I'm looking forward to next year to see who the Ravens get Jackson back. I mean,
yeah.
Think about
they got to slow him down, man. All that ripping and running got to slow him down. You gonna beat him up, man. He ain't gonna be no good to you.
You can't run. You can't be a running quarterback like that. You got to be like Warren Moon. So, but,
yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see what turns out. But again, brother, I want to thank you for coming on this panel.
Yeah, you got it, man.
Topic, and I'll be in touch, and let's get ready for some good old football. But once again, brother, you're always welcome up here. I'll be up here next week, my brother.
You know it. I'll be here.
All right. Peace, my brother.
All right, man. Peace.
All right. We had a good topic tonight. We talked about family. Again, I love family. I believe family is a good unit. Family can come together, but what I see in today's types of families is nothing more than a leech fest. That's why it's overrated. I just believe that parents are allowing the kids to run the house. Parents are too permissive. I mean, when I see daughters and mothers going out to the club together, mothers allowing the daughter's boyfriend to have sex in the house. They're also allowing the kids to bring their children into the house to live. As the grandmother, they're allowing their kids to go out when they have kids to have their fun, not be responsible. I look at that and this type of behavior. These kids really, they don't respect their parents. The parents are trying to get the kids to like them. That's the wrong way to approach everything. They're children. Children must stay in a child's place. When there are rules in the house, it is not the child's place to have an opinion. They want an opinion, they have their own house. Now, if a child, again, to summarize everything up, if they're going to college, there's nothing wrong with them staying at home. But when they get their degree and get a job, they have to move out. When you're 23, 24, 25, you should not be living in your parents' house. If you're a man or a woman, now I understand the women, they have a little bit more to go through, but if you're a man, you definitely need to be out. If you are not going to college as a man, or even as a woman, go to the military. That's 4 years where basically you'll have everything you want. You have your job. You can get some college credits, the GI Bill. You can also get health insurance. You have a place to stay. You have structure. Now, I'm not saying the military is for everybody, but college is for everybody. But being friends with the sister-daughter type of structure, or you have that son-husband, that doesn't work. And in the end, what happens is you have dysfunctional family members. And when that occurs, they become crabs in a barrel, jealous. And if you don't give family members what they want when they call, they're going to try to shame you, make you feel bad. So in the end, again, I believe family is overrated and blood is not thicker than water. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube. If you like what I just presented, please comment, share, and subscribe. And if you're looking for some educational material, check out my newer channel, the Mind of STEM channel. On that channel, I give you a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. And some of the subjects that I talk about are cybersecurity, entomology, mechanical engineering, and calculus. And also, I'm working on bringing my Blog Talk radio show back. And I am looking to combine it with the live stream here. We'll see how that would work out. Have to run some tests on it. 215-383-5785 is the number. Now, if you cannot find me on YouTube, when it comes to the 411 Talk Zone radio show, you can always check me out on Twitter. Now, I'm not using MeWe and Parler right now. Those sites, they're more or less smaller sites, and they don't draw traffic to my YouTube channel. Now, for my Mind of STEM channel, you can check me out on Twitter and, of course, LinkedIn. And at the end of the day, I'm going to leave you with this. Be blessed for what you have. Don't worry about what you don't have. Always know that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. And for individuals who are offended by some of these topics, I'm going to leave you with this. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. But if the shoe fits, wear it. If you don't like the shoe, change it. And once again, thank you for listening to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. I want you all to have a wonderful and gracious night. God bless you. I'm out.